Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today we're going to be talking about if LeBron James has a new puppet in the one JJ Redick, amongst other topics. But first, before we get into this, let's welcome the panel back and a new panel member as well, which we'll save for last. But first, Sports and Fitness Rants, how you doing today?
Yo, everybody out there, what's up, man? Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody on the panel, man. All my people out there, man. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
We got Hoop God here. How are you today, sir?
Oh man, I'm doing fine, man. How everybody else doing on the panel? As I said before, it's imperative that we destroy these narratives. I'm ready for a great show.
Steam Engine, how are you? Welcome back, sir.
I'm well, sir. Appreciate being here. Happy to talk about anything other than Drake and Kendrick, I guess.
We've got AOH here. Fantastic hair today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm sorry. You compliment my hair. It gets me. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be able to join this week, but the more I hear JJ Redick's voice, I couldn't resist. I've got to chime in. That guy's making my ears bleed.
We've got Nick here, NMB Sports. How are you today, sir?
Doing good. I like the rhymes by my man Hoop God there.
Appreciate you, man.
And we've got Jay, also known as Scap Attack, in the house. How are you today, sir?
Doing well. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here. Can't wait to get into it with you guys.
Absolutely. We'll start off with Robin first and go around the horn. But Robin, do you think that LeBron James had anything to do with JJ Redick getting hired to the Lakers?
Well, listen, we don't need to go in whether or not he had something to do with it or he didn't have anything to do with it, man. More importantly, what this is going to fall back on is, once again, the excuses, the built-in excuses, the lack of accountability for LeBron James. Once again, like I've always told people on my channel, man, it's the lack of accountability, man, that LeBron James has ever been held to, man, the standard he's ever been held to. So now we have JJ Redick coming in with no experience. So what is this going to point to?
Go.
The built-in excuses for JJ Redick. And once again, LeBron James is not going to have any accountability for, once again, whatever happens during the season. But remember, it's always a win-win situation for LeBron James. So whether or not LeBron James had anything to do with JJ Redick or not is irrelevant, because once again, I always tell people the same thing. If the Lakers win, LeBron James is going to get all the credit for that. If the Lakers falter somehow and they don't live up to the standard, then who's going to get the blame? Because once again, this is something else that we point to. Who's going to take the blame now? Is it going to be JJ Redick, or now is it going to be his son? He's brought his son along for the ride with what we have seen now is a complete travesty, a complete circus in Los Angeles. So I think we can say, yeah, LeBron James probably has something to do with JJ Redick being in there. But once again, is it going to point to the lack of accountability for LeBron James? JJ Redick has no experience. Has JJ Redick ever won anything in the NBA? And once again, JJ Redick has continued to carry himself with no integrity, no class, no honor from JJ Redick. This man continues to tear down the past eras. Bob Cousy, in fact, this man is damn near dead. He's 90-something years old. He had to come out and tell JJ Redick to sit down and shut up, because this man continues to tarnish the past eras, the greats. So if someone like Bob Cousy felt compelled to come out and say these things against the JJ Redick, we've all seen and heard all the rumors that are going out right now about JJ Redick and some of the things he may have said or may not have said, some of the things he may have did, some of the things he does or doesn't do. But once again, it points to the lack of integrity, the class, the honor of a JJ Redick, and the respect that he doesn't get. So LeBron James is still searching for that respect, and they bring in JJ Redick. How the hell is that making the Lakers respectable? How does this point to the winning? They'll point to LeBron James and say LeBron James wants to win. Where's the evidence of this? Bringing in JJ Redick with lack of experience and all these things. Bringing in Bronny James. Who the hell is Bronny James? Who the hell is he? He's nobody. And they bring these guys in. Does this point to a winning mentality, to something that you're leading into? So now this gives JJ Redick the built-in excuse and the lack of accountability for LeBron James, man.
Absolutely. Hoopka, what do you got to say about all this?
Go.
Okay, so real quick, let's take a time to rewind and reflect. All right, what has been the running narrative? His first 7 years in Cleveland, didn't have a good coach. Although Mike Brown was an assistant coach with the Spurs, had an abundance of coaching experience. I mean, How many times have we had a franchise win over 60 games in back-to-back seasons, right? Let's move forward. We get to the Miami Heat. All of a sudden, you remember the issue with Eric Spoelstra. He didn't want him to coach the team, remember. He wanted Pat Riley to come down. No, Pat Riley said, Eric Spoelstra is going to be your coach. We see what happened. 2-time champion, 2 embarrassing moments in the finals. Let's move forward. You get to the 2015 finals. David Blatt, which is one of the coaches, for some odd reason, I just cannot understand why his name never gets mentioned amongst some of his better coaches. Keep in mind, this man took the Golden State Warriors 6 games without Kyrie Irving, without Kevin Love. The very next season, they are 30-11, 19 games over 500. Number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Somehow, mysteriously, he gets fired. Ty Lue becomes the coach. Okay, cool. We know what happened with the issue with Ty Lue, 2016. They come back. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Now you go to the Lakers, right? You never play for Phil. You never play for Coach Popovich. Mind you, he's had several opportunities to play for these coaches, but he chose not to do it. Okay. You get Luke Walton, fired. You get Frank Vogel, after winning the Disney bubble chip, fired. You get Darvin Ham. You win the in-season tournament, the Pup Cup, right? And now he gets fired. Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior here. Okay. So I'm gonna get to JJ Redick. They start their little podcast, Mind the Blame, whatever, talking, I guess, whatever. It's self-aggrandizement. I mean, because I didn't learn anything from it, even after the first episode. Okay, cool. Then we start hearing there's turmoil between LeBron James and the coaching plans and the plays and the execution. Okay. Somehow Darvin Ham gets fired, back-to-back playoff appearances. Now the Lakers start to interview coaches. All of a sudden, JJ Redick becomes a candidate. And this is a guy that you're hosting a podcast show with. Okay. Dan Hurley, for some reason, rejects the position. And the Lakers settle for JJ Redick. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to assume. But, I mean, if we just use deductive reasoning, yeah, he had a lot to do with that. I don't care how much they come out and try to oh, no, we had nothing to do with that. Yeah, you did. But because we look at your track record, you always are in the front office asking for teammates, asking for coaches that give you everything you want. And like my man, Sports and Fitness Ranch just said, when it all blows up, it's never his fault. It's everybody else's fault. I want to get to a quote that Jared West said.
Go.
JJ Redick has never done anything to determine a game, yet somehow he becomes a coach, and then he wants to try to trash the other decades and the great players from the 60s and the 70s. That's disrespectful. That's one reason I don't like him, because you don't disrespect the guys that came before you. So to sum it up, yes, LeBron has to have a puppet coach that he can control, and when everything blows up, it's going to be somebody else's fault.
Steam Engine, what do you got to say about this?
Go.
Well, what's wild about the whole thing is if I could imagine a coach of the Lakers that I watched when I was a kid, I'm like, that's got to be a douchebag, right? And the first person I think of is JJ Redick, like Duke JJ Redick, like that entire roster. And I'm like, yeah, he seems like the type to do something like this. And interestingly enough, Darvin Ham, I mean, when they won the in-season tournament, it was the greatest thing in the world. They threw a parade and there's TV specials and all this. And now he's this great coach, but a couple weeks later, now they got to fire him. And to me, it's like, that's clear as day as to what's taken place. And you mentioned deductive reasoning, like reasoning is the issue there, because it's easy to me. It's easier to prove that all this shady shit is happening than it's easier to prove that it's not. And it's like with any other scenario, this would be such a closed deal, you got Rich Paul threatening teams to send Bronny to Australia, who, by the way, is 6'1.5", not 6'4", like he was scouted at for like an entire season. It's That's like, so how much shady shit can you do back to back to back to back? Until you just realize, like, man, they don't give a shit. It's just, this is what they're going to do. They don't care what you think about it. My one theory, though, is that when the Lakers start to fall, JJ Redick, yeah, he's going to get a lot of the blame, but I think JJ might have a little bit of an ego to him, and I think there might be some clashing there. And I would go as far as to say, like, behind the scenes, there may be like leaking of information for one party or the other, because JJ Redick's not just going to go out in, in a fizzle like that. He's worked hard, quote unquote, at the sports networks. So he's not ready to give that up. So this season's going to be great.
Hey, what do you guys say?
I think it's going to be more of the same with an extra dose of arrogance. You watch anything he's said or done, and it just starts with arrogance. So he's going to be an excuse maker with arrogance. He's going to be on the sideline. You don't know whether he's coaching or not coaching. He's going to have that stoic appearance, and he'll just add even more arrogance to that appearance. And he's going to curse with arrogance. And, a quick shout out to Robin, because he mentioned how cursing is really a sign of a low IQ and low vocabulary, which it's funny for me to say that because cursing was one of my things. But that's a character. But that's a character. That's not someone on national television representing a franchise or hosting a show that you have the nerve to call Mind the Game, and LeBron's just dropping profanity left and right with his eyes wide, because that makes your point that much more valid. And now JJ Redick's doing that as the coach of the Lakers. He's embarrassing, and the excuses have already started. I heard the other shows trying to make excuses for him dropping that. Oh, that's just the way it is now. I got to go on my societal rant. When are we ever going to have someone who's the face of something that holds us to a higher standard instead of being the example that you don't need to try anymore? I'm so tired of the face of the league, LeBron James, being a foul mouth, embarrassing idiot, both on the basketball court, in press conferences, on his podcast. And now the coach is doing the same thing, and all we hear are people making excuses for it. Well, it's fine because of this or that. Are we ever going to have someone on television who leads the way by example instead of being the guy that said, he did it too? And that's what the LeBron James era of the Lakers has been. And it's continuing with Redick. And I'm going to keep my intro short because I've got plenty to say. But I just thought I would kick it off with that one.
Nick, what do you got to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty obvious answer. It's like, obviously he had something to do with it, right? I mean, they have a podcast together, for crying out loud. And that's just been the history of LeBron, right? Like, LeBron has always been involved in the front office. I know you're asking the question kind of just rhetorically in a way, but I think it's an obvious yes, right? Like, this has been his whole MO, his entire career, essentially, right? Once he got the stardom status, rightfully earned, right? But once he got the stardom status, I mean, he's always been involved in the front office, right? He's always had a hand in what's going on, or who he wants, or who leaves whenever he doesn't like it, or et cetera, right? So to me, it's an obvious yes, but I want to touch on what Robin said. I cannot wait to see what happens going forward. And even if they do well, I think it'll be fun to watch in a way. Right? It's going to be good TV no matter what, right? His son, him, Redick, like there's just so much opportunity here that it could go so many ways. Whether we like it or not, it's still going to be a ton to talk about, right? So I think they're probably going to struggle a little bit. We'll see what happens. To think that adding his son and Redick is somehow like the tweak they needed to make to turn the season around or become a much better team, I don't really see that, right? So I expect them to do about the same, maybe miss the playoffs. We'll see what other moves they make, right? But I am here for the must-see TV drama that's going to ensue for the next year or two, that's for sure. And I'll give the rest of my time over to Scap Attack.
Jay, what do you got to add to this?
Go.
Guys, what's up? Listen, I think the coverage overall on JJ has been a little bit unfair, honestly. Look, the thing that annoys me about the hire, about JJ Redick, the way he's carrying himself, isn't the fact that he got a job that he's totally unqualified for and doesn't deserve. It's the sense of entitlement that he's been showing, that that era of arrogance and egotism, like he's done a lot that would warrant him getting this head coaching job. I think overall, though, JJ Redick, as just a candidate and just a coaching prospect, look, I respect the guy overall. I think he's got a great basketball mind. I think from an analytics standpoint and an X's and O's standpoint, I think that he has the potential to be a great coach, maybe one day. But, the thing, as the old saying goes, it's not necessarily about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and Joes. And sure, they've got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, 2 All-NBA team selected players this past season. But, there's some comparisons. The Lakers think that they found maybe the next Pat Riley or Eric Spoelstra or, Steve Kerr. Look, all of those guys, say what you will, Steve Kerr had no coaching experience either. He did serve a number of years, though, in the front office before ascending to that job with the Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors, as a team constructed, were much better and a viable team unit versus this hodgepodge of players that the Lakers have strewn together just to placate LeBron James. I think this setting for Redick is going to more closely mirror that Steve Nash debacle that we saw in with the Nets when he was hired with no coaching experience, all at the behest of Kevin Durant. Look, ultimately, coaching LeBron James is a winless proposition. If you have a great coach, and he's played for great coaches before, guys, let's not mistake. Not only, I heard Mike Brown's name thrown around earlier. Mike Brown has won 2 Coach of the Year awards throughout the course of his career. He played for Tyronn Lue, who's one of the great coaches, I think, in the current NBA. He's a top 5 coach. And then Eric Spoelstra is arguably the best coach in the NBA right now, a surefire Hall of Famer. But look, it's just like when LeBron plays with star players. When the Lakers succeed, when LeBron succeeds, all the credit to LeBron. When they fail, none of the blame. So JJ Redick now is just going to be yet another layer of insulation for LeBron James. If JJ Redick and the Lakers succeed, it's all on LeBron. If they fail, well, it's probably on team construction and on JJ Redick. I think that it's all about LeBron, all about building the excuses and protecting and insulating himself and his life.
1, go.
Can I take 1 second of my time back just because I gave up a minute?
Sure,
I want to play a little 4D chess here as well. And I wonder if also he talked about a layer of insulation, right? I wonder if hiring JJ Redick also gives a layer of insulation to his kid, who it will be easy to pawn it off onto JJ Redick instead of a young Bronny James who, and I'm not saying that Bronny James, by the way, probably shouldn't get any blame. He's probably not going to play a whole lot, I don't think. If he does, that'll be really interesting. But he could end up playing 20 minutes a game. We'll see, or something like that. But and then one last thing is he mentioned how Redick has no experience, right? What other connection could we draw for JJ Redick of all people to get this job, other than LeBron James having at least somewhat of a say in it, probably a big say in it, right? So I just want to add that, and we can move on.
Guys, real quick. I just want to say what a winless proposition this is for JJ Redick. Why would you want this job? You're coaching a team in LeBron James's tenure in 6 seasons. They've been better than a 6 seed 1 time. They have missed the playoffs more than they've advanced, the same number of times as they've advanced past the first round. I mean, this team has not been successful. Now you have a rookie head coach with no coaching experience trying to coach LeBron James, aging out of the NBA with 1 or 2 more years left in his winning window, with his kid who's nowhere near NBA ready. This is going to be an absolute sideshow circus. And if you were, I don't know I did not hear the finalized number. Maybe one of you guys know what the extent of the contract entails for JJ Redick. How much are they paying this guy to make it worthwhile? I mean, this is coaching career suicide for him. When he fails, there's nowhere to go for him moving forward. He's going to be the next Steve Nash, essentially. Well,
you answered your own question, and I actually wanted to present this to you after your first point. Do you guys know that JJ Redick's starting salary is double that of Joe Mazzulla's, who just won an NBA title? He's starting at $8 million a year. Joe Mazzulla is currently at $4.7 million a year. Now, when you get a first-time head coach, it's a risk. Don't you get to have a little bit of a budget drop when you're risking somebody and then they can earn the money later? No, JJ Redick, right from the beginning, $32 million for 4 years. That seems like a LeBron James influence to me. But when I'm putting together a video about exactly how much money LeBron James has cost the Lakers and their inability to make other moves, and I'm including coaches in it. They're paying 3 coaches right now, and the current coach is being overpaid. Not only that, but like I said, you answered your own question. Something that should be a privilege, coaching a storied franchise, now has to be compensated with a crazy contract, because why else would you want to go there? It's a shit show. The Lakers franchise has turned into a shit show that you have to compensate with a crazy amount of money. That should be, and I'm sure is, upsetting for real Laker fans.
Yeah, for me, real fast, I want to address the super chat that came to me, which was from Pierre Lynch, $10. Dart, God bless this channel and the panel. Thank you, Pierre, for the $10 super chat. I know you've wanted Scap Attack on for the longest time, and so yeah. Anyway, I gotta say that I believed JJ Redick for every word he said in that press conference when he said that I didn't talk to LeBron James about this coaching job at all until half an hour after they offered it to me. I believe him 110% because they don't have any sort of relationship. And he's a totally professional guy who, speaks eloquently, doesn't drop the F-bomb in a press conference about his coaching gig. It's something that it's laughable, the kind of stuff that he's been doing. And to respect to what all y'all are saying, I do not think that it's going to go well. I think he is another fall guy, as everyone has agreed on, and Scap Attack had brought up. It's something that I think is just purely laughable. And something else that I wanted to bring up with the new Bronny James revelation that nobody saw coming either was that what about the job? Not to say that whoever it would be otherwise would have lasted long in the NBA. Excuse me. But what about the job that isn't part of the LeBron James Trust Fund that the guy lost? That could have been a couple $100,000 over, or $1 million, or whatever the contract is nowadays for second round picks. What about the guy that actually would have changed his life instead of just being a circus sideshow, as been said about the Los Angeles Lakers? That guy got screwed out of a life-changing moment that just for this BS story about LeBron James being able to play with his son, which they're going to prop up, which has nothing to do with LeBron James, for one. They're going to say that made him the GOAT. There is another argument to go and say that he is somehow greater than he is because he played with his son. His son, even though he's not even there on his own merits, has nothing to do with LeBron, and unless you want to give him credit for just being his dad, which they are. It's laughable what they're doing, especially with the Bronny James thing. And that's a follow-on question. I mean, this is rhetorical too, and we've kind of talked about it a decent amount. But I mean, is there, just to make it more of a pointed question, is there any reason other than just the sideshow that you think that Bronny James should be on the Lakers? And we'll start with you, Scap.
Look, like I said when I began speaking about JJ Redick, I don't begrudge JJ Redick for taking the job and taking the money. I don't begrudge Bronny James for wanting to play in the NBA. But the thing that really rubs me the wrong way is this sense of entitlism, and the fact that not even the nature of it being entitled, but the fact that they're all pretending like LeBron James hasn't played a massive role in this. Like, of course, JJ Redick got the job because of his connections, his personal ties with LeBron James. Of course, Bronny James, a kid who was on no one's big board, I guess he was being speculated as possibly a second-round pick in next year's NBA draft. Of course, the Lakers only drafted him because he was LeBron's kid. Just come out and say it. I would have more respect for LeBron And, for the organization, if they just came out and said, look, we're placating LeBron James. If LeBron James came out and said, hey, look, he's my son. I told the organization to draft him. I strong-armed them. That's my right as LeBron James. That's my power as LeBron James. Instead, what was that pathetic display of the little watch party in that theater at the James household when Savannah brings the cap over, the Lakers cap over to Bronny, and he has that little tender moment where he's choking up and puts the hat on? Are you kidding me? Like, this was the worst kept secret in the world of basketball. We knew it was coming from 1,000 miles away. Like, just come out and say it. And I misspoke earlier. I said I would have some credit for the Lakers organization. I want to give them credit for absolutely nothing. This is a pathetic sham that they've allowed themselves to be drugged down to this level for LeBron by LeBron James and for LeBron James. Anyone that follows me or my content knows, yes, it's true. I'm a big Kobe guy. So I followed the Lakers closely for 20 years. And while I'm not quite old enough to remember the 80s, this is one of the proudest organizations in sports history. I would expect maybe LeBron to go to like some scrub, degenerate, defunct organization and pull this kind of coup garbage with handpicking his podcast co-host as the coach, having them draft his completely unqualified and undeserving son. He has done this and pulled this off with the storied Los Angeles Lakers, the absolute gold standard of basketball for like 4 decades. What in the hell is Jeannie Bucks and that deadbeat organization doing? I will never know. But for anyone to suggest that Bronny James is in the NBA right now and rostered for any other reason than his last name, it's a complete and utter joke and lie.
Nick, what do you got to say about all this?
Yeah. Like,
Go.
I don't understand why hide it? Like, the cover up is worse than the crime. It's like 100 times worse optics than. Look, I think we even all kind of said, or at least I know I've said, like, even as someone who kind of likes to hate on you and stuff, even like as a dad, like, we all get it. We would all do it. I think at the end of I would hope so, right? If your kid had a chance to come play in the NBA with you, I don't really care what everyone else thinks. I would have, if I had the power to say draft my kid so I can play with them, I'd do it. I don't care what anyone else thinks, right? I would do it. And so it's why be apologetic about it? Like, why be so meek about it, right? Why try to cover it up or act like it's not a thing, or just come out and say it? Like, I wanted JJ Redick to be my coach. I think he's going to be a good coach. I think he's got a good basketball IQ, blah, 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 blah. I want to play with my kid. I don't think, as a dad, it's hard to say, like, that's a horrible move. I'd kind of be like, that's kind of cool. Like, anyone who's ever played sports with their kids knows that would be an insane feeling, right? It would be so cool. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say is I agree. Like, the cover up is worse than the crime. Like, I talk about this all the time too. Everything is so artificial with LeBron, his whole aura and his PR that he has to give off all the time. And this is a good example, right? Like, he has to just be squeaky clean. It's like, this isn't really that big of a scandal if you just come out and just owned it, right? It's really not. We all get it. We all see it. Maybe some don't like it or disagree, or maybe they think it's a bad move. But it's like, we all see what the network is here, right? It's not really that hard to just come out and admit it, right? And it'd be a lot better.
Hey, Witch, what do you got to say?
Oh man, a lot of good points there.
Go.
Lack of morality is across the board here. You brought up a non-basketball topic, how it affected someone else's life by bringing in Bronny. But the thing is, LeBron fans love to make the GOAT debate based on non-basketball topics. If LeBron James is such a great person and does great things off the court, then what you brought up about how he ruined the dreams of someone else by bringing in a kid who's already the son of a billionaire. You can't even bring in, the financial aspect of it would be important to his future. No, the guy's absurdly rich, coming from an absurdly rich family.
And it'd be different if he earned it. It'd be different if he earned it. That I just want to interject that real fast.
Yeah, and then JJ Redick lying to our faces on camera. I put a video about this in the members section, but I'll touch on it briefly. What does it matter? I was like, okay, so let's say that they prove that LeBron and JJ did have this planned out. What's going to happen? Who's going to hold them accountable? Who's going to punish them? No one's going to hold them accountable. No one's going to punish them. And it's interesting how we become so comfortable with people lying and them not getting in trouble. However, if it were to be proven that JJ Redick did in fact have that racial slur, he probably wouldn't escape from that one. And not that racial slurs are a good thing, but he'll be fired for that one. But we as a society don't really expect the people on camera to tell the truth anymore. And that's unfortunate. Nick, you had a good point. Can you remind me what you said?
I'd say like even though like we can all see what's going on, so like why hide it? And the cover up source from the crime. And then I said even as a dad, like I do it. I don't care what anyone else thinks in terms of me and my son playing ball. That's just my, you know what I mean? That's the one I'll give him. But don't hide it. Just come out and admit it.
That was it. LeBron fans want to act like this is a credit toward LeBron becoming the GOAT when it has nothing to do with basketball. Yes. Oh, Jordan couldn't even get his. I actually saw this comment, believe it or not. Jordan couldn't even get his son onto the Charlotte Hornets. That's called morality. You think that Jordan's power and influence couldn't have gotten his son onto the team? He knew it was wrong. He had more respect for the lowly Charlotte Hornets than LeBron James has for the Los Angeles Lakers. It's not a good thing. You people are celebrating things that are terrible.
Speed Engine, what do you gotta say about all this?
Go. Do my best to follow that up. What's upsetting me is I was watching Nick Wright and whatever those guys are, and they were talking about nepotism and how all of a sudden now everybody has an issue with it because it's LeBron. And it's like, well, no duh, like no shit, because it's not such a black and white in this vacuum issue, right? Like so many shady steps were taken for said nepotism to take place, and there's nothing anybody with a heartbeat, like I feel like can't deny that. Very often I see that Giannis's brother brought up as an example, and it's like, yeah, but at least dude's tall. I mean, if you have to justify something, at least he's a body in the paint. I mean, his highlights aren't great, but you can see how it may work. Like pretty much everybody said, it's all narratively structured. I mean, we're talking about this man accepted an award when his family was presenting him. His family was on stage, and this man buttons his jacket, unbuttons, gets up, acts like he's surprised, and I'm just like, I don't like. It's just it would be better if you owned it. I'm the same way. If I could bring my kids into that situation, I would, and I wouldn't be shy about it, because as a dad, I think it's a beautiful thing to provide. Also, I think it needs to be earned, but I'm not a billionaire, so it could be different for somebody in that mind state. Oh, and I mentioned this in my last video. When you look at the statistics of the first two rounds, you can't justify a number 55 pick averaging under 5 points a game. You just there's nothing on paper that can prove otherwise. You know what I mean? So that's like the lowest hanging of fruit in terms of how this is all crazy.
Hoop God, what do you got to say about all this?
Yeah, Speed Engine, what you said, we'll never see that again.
Go.
That is the example of nepotism. Getting picked 55th overall with those numbers, I'm sorry. And I'm going to follow that up with a point that AOH that you brought up about the LeBron fans always bringing up non-basketball topics. So there was this guy on TikTok that I was having some discourse with. He was like, well, how come Michael Jordan couldn't get his son to the league with all that pool? I said, see, you don't understand. It's called having dignity and having integrity. Yes, I have the power to get my sons. However, I'm going to make them earn it. He tends to respond back by telling me that's a weak excuse. I said, okay, it's a weak excuse. Let's pull up the film and let's look at MJ's sons and let's look at LeBron's son. And you tell me who's more deserving of being drafted into the NBA. Of course, I never heard from him again. Scap, I want to speak on something that you mentioned about JJ Redick. And I was thinking about it. I was like, hey, you know what? if JJ is able to convince these people with some assistance from LeBron, of course, if he's able to convince these people to hire him, bravo, live up to it. Make sure that you take that title and don't shy away because now you're in the spotlight. Okay, because it's like the old saying is like everything ain't green, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. So I'm looking at it like, okay, JJ, you got what you want. I hope you live up to it. And then Nick, what you mentioned about being able to see what they're doing, right? It's like a slogan I like to say. You can see the forest through the trees. Like, come on, man. People with common sense, we know what the media is doing. We know what LeBron's doing. It's like, bro, just own it. Just come out and say, yeah, I flex my power. I got my son in the league. But no, he don't want to do that because he knows that when it blows up in his face, he has to have an out. But my last point I wanted to speak on this. LeBron wants that lasting image. Okay, just follow what I'm saying. Remember Michael Jordan, the shot over Utah in '98, the lasting image. Kobe Bryant's lasting image, the 60 ball, when he said Mamba out. LeBron cannot have his lasting image be going out against the Denver Nuggets, getting swept in the Western Conference Finals, and then getting beat in the first round, and him just having a horrible performance. See, he knows that he can manipulate people's minds, especially his fans. See, he's reduced them to that low level. So he wants his lasting image either with his arm around his son or dapping him up on the court so he can say, oh, yeah, this is something Michael Jordan never did. What does that have to do with basketball?
Can I interject real quick? I think somebody touched on it in the chat. The entire marketing strategy behind this whole thing is, quote, legacy. So to me, it's like, am I thinking Bronny James when I think legacy, or am I thinking LeBron James when I'm thinking legacy? This is like, again, clear as day about him. No one has the guts to say shit about it. It's sad.
Yeah. So to end my point, he has no integrity. He has no accountability. And those are two of the biggest reasons that I objectively, I just don't like him as a basketball player. It has nothing to do with anything personal. It's just how you conduct yourself. I can't support that. So that's all I got to say on that.
Robin, what you got to say about all this?
Yeah, man. Listen, you guys said a lot of stuff there, man, but it all came back to what I started off with, man. What are you guys all talking about? You guys are all talking about the same things, man. You guys are right on the money. You guys are talking about things like accountability. You guys are talking about things like my man Scab said, talking about the entitlement. You know what I'm saying? My man AOH talking about the honor of these things, man. Once again, that's what it all falls back to, guys. It's all about the lack of honor, the lack of class, the lack of integrity, all of these things. Because once again, it also goes back to the winning. Does LeBron James really want to win? Does this point to a winning mentality for the Los Angeles Lakers for LeBron James? Is bringing Bronny James in and JJ Redick point to you trying to win now, the win now mentality that LeBron James should really have? Like you guys had mentioned, he's only got a couple of years left. If we're really going to be honest here, the man should have retired years ago, but he continues to hang on for whatever the reasons. But if he really wants to hang around and compare himself to the Michael Jordans of the world, the Kobe Bryants, man, the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, you know what I'm saying? The great players, man, the guys who are known as winners, as true competitors, man, then he should be making moves and he should be concerned only with winning. People talk about Michael Jordan's son. You really believe Michael Jordan would have drafted his son to the Chicago Bulls if they were even decent, or if they're not going to really help the Bulls win? He ain't drafting his kids if he ain't winning. He don't give a damn, man. He wouldn't draft his mom if she wasn't going to help him win, man. That's the whole thing about Michael Jordan. He wanted to win. But at the same time, let's also keep in mind, Michael Jordan was never involved in these moves. He was never concerned about what Jerry Krause was doing or what he wasn't doing. All of these things, man. Only LeBron James gets these built-in excuses, which is what I mentioned in the start. This is all going to be what? More excuses for LeBron James and his fans. Once again, his fans are always looking to point the finger, the media, these fake YouTubers out here with their excuse channels for LeBron James, man, trying to pawn themselves off, masquerade as fake Michael Jordan fans, man. They're a bunch of clowns. Everything's an excuse, no accountability. Once again, like you guys said, they're not standing on anything. So you bring in your son. I don't give a damn if it's his son or not. If the man was good enough, if his son was good enough to make the Lakers better, to do something for the Lakers, are we really supposed to believe that LeBron James' son coming to the Lakers is doing anything? And once again, what are they talking about already? Bringing in a new roster, revamping and retooling the roster for JJ Redick so he can be successful in his first NBA season as a head coach in LA. They were talking about what now I saw? Oh, LeBron James is going to maybe take a pay cut. He's going to redo his contract so that the Lakers can get another star. Who else do we need? Who else does LeBron James need? Once again, why is this? for the lack of accountability. So that LeBron James has the built-in excuse. Scab, you said it earlier, man. I said it before, man. LeBron James in a win-win situation. The Lakers win, whatever happens, it doesn't matter. If the Lakers are successful, LeBron James gets all the credit. They win the in-season tournament, they're gonna be popping champagne, all this stuff. If the Lakers falter for whatever the reasons, what's gonna happen? LeBron James is gonna come to the post-game press conference, talk about guys that are injured, all these excuses, and they'll blame JJ Redick in his first year. They're gonna blame all these other guys. You guys know the deal, man. That's what it all falls back on.
Hey, he needs Team USA.
And it's the entirety.
Just real quick on Robin's point, I wanted to say, I saw that post about LeBron's willing to negotiate with the Lakers in order to bring in another piece. Okay, so basically Anthony Davis and whoever the other superstar is are going to be the ones. Oh, and the refs with the 500 more free throws than the next closest team are going to be responsible for whatever success that you do happen to have. But also what LeBron James did was like a store marking up everything 50% and then putting up a sign that says, hey, there's a sale 20% off. His salary is so effing inflated that for him to say, oh, I'm willing to take less after he's inflated the hell out of it. And wait a minute, we're supposed to be impressed that you're willing to take less money to bring in somebody that's going to carry your ass, whether your salary was inflated in the first place or not. The other thing I want to say is I think Pelinka is next. I don't think Redick is going to get scapegoated. I think Pelinka's next. I mean, that guy has been backpedaling and retreating even while giving LeBron everything he wants the entire time. And I think he will not be rewarded for sucking up to LeBron James. I think Pelinka is going to be the next one that gets the blame.
I'd like to jump in here. I'm actually surprised. I saw the report the other day about, LeBron is potentially willing to work with the Lakers front office, take a little bit less in order to necessitate potentially signing another, elite high blue chip caliber free agent, of which there are not many available on the market currently, by the way. I saw another report, a separate report yesterday that Klay Thompson and the Warriors are headed towards some kind of a divorce. There's mutual interest with the Dallas Mavericks and Klay Thompson. And the Mavericks have close to no wiggle room with their cap, which then leads me to wonder, how much is Klay willing to take? Is he willing to take, a lot less to go somewhere else? Because that would be maybe a nice little ending point for Klay Thompson to go join the Lakers, where his dad obviously famously played. And I have to ask this question. This is just the enigma that is LeBron James. I'll leave this question open to you guys. Why haven't we seen this more from him throughout his career of taking less? Look, we know LeBron is a cowardly, ring-hunting mercenary who basically has only had the ultimate success when he is insulated by elite, unbeatable super team like stacking rosters. So why have we not seen this guy who's a billionaire already taking less for years to try to perpetuate that kind of help from joining him and helping him stack these cheap, garbagey rings on his fingers? I can't reconcile that. Is it also just because his ego is not allowing him to take less? Is it the optics of him taking, not being the highest paid player in the NBA? I'm genuinely curious. What are your guys' thoughts on why LeBron hasn't been taking less to woo, better players?
Let me start on that because I haven't gone in a while. But So why does LeBron James not take less? Or why hasn't he taken less? It's plainly because he didn't have to and he didn't want to. He didn't want to go and try and be part of the team in respect to the management, even though he is now at this point a billionaire, close to a billionaire, is that he was trying to milk every dollar that he could have out of whatever organization he was. And to the things that you were saying, Scap, he was selling himself as the highest prize in the NBA to these teams. And he obviously was able to get it in respect to the money. But I think that it's crazy is that if you are really so much about winning, and you already have all this money and you actually want to win. It's not just about the money, which I'm not saying it's crazy just to take the money. That's fine if, it's a lot of money. But if you're like Tim Duncan, who is openly trying to win more championships, then I think that you should do it. But I'm not one to say because I'm not a multimillionaire. Sadly, that would be nice, but I don't have that option. But if I did, excuse me, then I I think that, and another reason why is I think a lot of it has to do with his ego at the time too. Is, well, I can demand this. I am going to push myself as the hot commodity of the league, and I'm not saying that he wasn't one of, and at times the hottest commodity in the league. So I think it's just kind of a simple answer for that. But I wanted to add something up, and not to trail back because I think we should continue with this question. Um, with LeBron James playing with the son. Another thing that I don't understand is, why would you draft him? It's really just to say that he did, because what are they going to start him? Is he going to play 30 minutes a game, or is he going to play, trash time at the end of games? So at least he deserves to be in his spot right now. He should be at the trash time in games. So how, they're not even going to play together. It doesn't make any sense. And I also wanted to add to Robin, Michael Jordan's mom can dunk the ball, or she could some years ago. I don't know if you've seen that commercial, but I think that she should have been able to go on the Charlotte Hornets in respect versus Bronny. I mean, that woman was amazing. Let alone she
Like
went
this, Michael.
That was before
and
CGI.
some
So it had to
razzle
be real.
dazzle.
That definitely was not a man in a wig. Talking
not.
basketball. Huh?
And then real fast, and then AOH, if you want to go after this, and we'll change the order up. But I just want to address this super chat that's been up here for a while, and I also want to address FYF Sports has been in here in the comments as well. But the super chat, $10, 10 US dollars from Gary, and then Robin, if you want to answer this real fast, and then we'll go back to Scap's question. But he says, "What's up, AOH and Sports and Fitness Ranch? Y'all got my guy Scap on. Y'all are doing God's work by documenting the truth in real time." Question: why are former and current players so afraid to tell the truth about LeBron? If you want to answer that, Robin, real fast.
Yeah, once again, it goes back to what we've been talking about. And one of the main points that I talk about on my channel, guys, is that word integrity. All right. A lot of these guys don't hold on to the integrity. So what happens? They lose the credibility. Once again, let's think about someone like Isaiah Thomas, real quick. Just real quick, Isaiah Thomas. He has no credibility because he's lost the integrity. If you look and think about all the things he said throughout the years about Michael Jordan in relation to Scottie Pippen and the Chicago Bulls and all these things, he's lost all credibility because this man has flip-flopped and said all kinds of things over the years, man. He hasn't held on to his integrity. A lot of these former players, for whatever the reason is, whether it's money, whatever it is, or like I said, they want to have a hot take and they want to get some views, some notoriety. That's really what it comes down to. Like I tell people, man, as long as you hold on to your integrity, then no one can argue with you. These guys, they don't want to keep that, man. It's weird.
AOH, what do you have to say about Scap's question or Jay's question?
What was the question?
Why are you
James took a
surprised
pay
that
cut early in his
LeBron?
career.
Yeah, AOH. My question was: are you surprised that it's taken LeBron this long in his career to start thinking about taking less money to bring
not
in
at all.
more?
He's one of the most insecure people I've ever seen. I mean, go back to what he said after his failure in Miami. He wanted to be the little people, and talk about his money, and his fan base are the type of people that will say you're the greatest based on a paycheck rather than what he did on the court. His allies like Nick Wright will have a TV show that says, well, how could he not be the GOAT if he's demanding this at this age? No one else has been able to demand this at this age. It's all shit that you put on a piece of paper, has nothing to do with basketball, but the weak-minded, easily influenced people buy into it. And that's part of it. Part of it is his ego. But money is the only thing that... Shit. I think both Uncommon and Robin did episodes on this where the only thing that matters anymore is money to people. Forget your integrity, forget what you did for other people. Look at my paycheck. That makes up for everything. And unfortunately, that's just where we are. And we have put these false gods like LeBron James up in front of us, demonstrating that that's the way that it is.
All right, Speed Engine, what do you got to say about Scab Attack's question, or AOH said?
It's pure greed. And again, the idea that he doesn't want to be seen as second to or anything like that. I mean, if he was that serious about the rings, he would have taken a pay cut years ago. You know, I said the same thing about Dame. Said the same thing about Bradley Beal. You know, all these guys take these crazy contracts and then piss and moan when they don't have any help. And LeBron's had help, and that's what makes all this even crazier. The one thing I will say that I've noticed is the just to veer a little bit, the how this has gone racial this quickly to me is wild disturbing. I was watching what's the I think he's black. He looks like a Simpsons character. Broussard, Chris Broussard, yeah. He's sitting up here talking about you know, why is it's okay for, you know, African Americans to have nepotism and blah blah blah. And I'm like, nobody's, and this is coming from a black man, like nobody's thinking that right now, that it has anything to do with black people. Yeah, Chris Broussard said something along those lines. And I didn't think it would get there that quickly. So that's a little disappointing, especially when there's no sign either way. Again, JJ Redick kind of looks like a Nazi. So if you're going to hire him, you obviously, you know, have hate in your heart somewhere.
Yeah, dude, white guys with shaved heads, man, freaking scary.
I just based on his character, he just looks shifty. But it's already taken the turf, narratively speaking, before the season's even started.
All right. So real fast, we got either Gilbert Arenas super fan or maybe Gilbert Arenas himself sent a $20 super chat to me. Kobe never took a pay cut. Jordan never took a pay cut to better the team. Why should a millionaire take a pay cut for a billionaire? So, I mean, we've been you can answer it, Jay. Yeah.
Let me just take that real quick. So Jordan and Kobe both were pure alphas. They had that mentality. It wasn't an act. They didn't have to build it or manufacture it or contrive it. When we see LeBron trying to have that allure of an alpha or be that guy, it looks pathetic and contrived, and he can never pull it off. Why Jordan and Kobe? Why did they not take pay cuts? Why did they not solicit and beg for help and try to build super teams? Because they actually walked the walk. They believed they were the ones. Kobe, literally, he's like, surround me with any four guys, and I can do it. Now, could he do it? He failed after Shaq left town when they had that deadbeat surrounding cast. They had Smush Parker as the starting point guard. All right, Kwame Brown, Chris Mim. Do I have to go on? These are players that didn't even belong in the NBA. They brought, though, Pau Gasol, who at the time was a one-time All-Star. When he joined up with Kobe Bryant in 2008 at the trade deadline, they went to 3 consecutive finals runs and won back-to-back immediately when they brought in a one-time All-Star. Say what you will, there's been some speculation about how good Scottie Pippen really was. I know I have my own feelings. I see some FYF commentary in the side chat here that he's not on. I know he took some issue with my stance on Scottie Pippen. But look, the same thing is true of Michael Jordan. You give him one all-star caliber player, and he basically won a championship every year. Why did those guys not take pay cuts? Why did they not beg for help? Because they didn't have to. They legitimately could win. LeBron can't. We've seen it time and time again. When LeBron tries to be the guy, he has failed. He's won 4 championships. Let's call an ace, more like 3.5. If we're gonna give that one in Orlando a full championship, go ahead. I don't really count it at all, but I guess we can go 0.5 on that one. And every time he's won, he's been insulated by unbeatable supporting casts. So that's why I'm asking why LeBron isn't taking less money, because he needs the help. So I think really the only answer is his ego. He doesn't want to look like he's taking less, doesn't want to look like other people are more valuable. Or the only other viable answer is he legitimately doesn't care about winning.
I was actually going to say this even before that Gilbert Arenas comment. it's a lose-lose for LeBron James, and I don't mean that to defend him. Because of the differences that Scap Attack just pointed out, LeBron James bringing in more help is embarrassing. If he to bring in more help, that isn't helping his legacy, in my opinion, because the difference between him and Jordan and Kobe, more so Jordan, in my opinion, because I thought Jordan's supporting cast was very depleted, is that never once in Jordan's career could you look at someone else on the team and say that was the main guy. You couldn't even really make an argument for it. Can you say, oh, yes, he had guys who delivered and did their job? Yeah, but never once could you present an argument that's even remotely close to the argument you can present for Dwayne Wade, for Kyrie Irving, for Anthony Davis, where the visual evidence is that LeBron James isn't even necessarily the best guy there. So you have to go get help. You have to go get help. So taking a pay cut to go get help isn't even really an attribute for LeBron James. But also, let's consider that LeBron James's pay cut, just the margin of the pay cut, is as much as Michael Jordan's entire salary was back then. I mean, Michael Jordan paid the way for these guys that have inflated salaries. Let's not pretend that Michael Jordan taking a pay cut was dropping by $20 million. We'd have been talking about $1 million.
Yeah. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, and then after that we'll get to Hoop God, and then but people are talking about dropping the link for these guys. We'll go around the horn, and then we'll allow people to call in after this round. So if they want to call in, they're welcome to.
No, I just wanted to say, man, the two things about that comment, about what my man Scap said. I didn't get a chance to respond to what he talked about with the money and all these things. It goes back to two things. This comment, it exposes what? The lack of mindset, the lack of wanting to win. LeBron James obviously is not playing to win. He's playing for the money. So when this person says, why would this person take a pay cut for this person and blah, blah, blah. Once again, you expose LeBron James. Exactly. Why would he? Because he's not playing to win. He's playing for the money and the fame. He's not playing for the love of the game, man. That's why he's a no trade clause. And Michael Jordan had a love of the game clause, man. They come from a different cloth. And what else does it expose to LeBron James, man? It exposes what? The lack of accountability. So yes, you're the highest paid player. You never want to take a pay cut. So then why are you not taking all the blame? Why is all the accountability not falling at you then? See, it doesn't add up. The LeBron James fans, all these idiots out here, man, like I said with their podcast, man, these fools that think they know the game, they know what they're talking about. Once again, they're not holding LeBron James to that same standard, the lack of accountability. So yes, LeBron James is the highest paid player. Why should he take a pay cut? And he never did. Then why is he not taking all the accountability? Michael Jordan got paid the cost to be the boss. He took all the blame, or most of the blame, and when it was time to take took all the blame, and when it was time to take the credit, Michael Jordan deflected onto his teammates. This is why we laugh at Scottie Pippen now. I grew up during that time. Michael Jordan always shouted out Scottie Pippen, always gave his teammates their just due. Michael Jordan earned that money. LeBron James getting all that money, but he don't want to be the leader. He don't want to run back on defense. He wants to stand around with his hands on his hips, man, flop around, not give the max effort, but he wants the max money. So if you're going to get the max money, you should get max blame.
All right. Well, I got another thing from Arena Sphere. Apparently, FYF is saying it is Gilbert Arenas. He's saying this is hilarious, but thank you for the other $20 or the $40 in total.
Hilarious. If that's really Gilbert Arenas, dude, you're one of the funniest guys on YouTube, man. You have some of the most comical, insane takes I've ever heard in my life. You should be embarrassed at things that you say publicly, man. I've heard your takes. If that's really Gilbert Arenas, dude, you're a joke, man. Get out of here.
Only $40.
Wait a minute. Was that his actual response?
That can't be
That's
really
hilarious.
Gilbert Arenas, man. Stop lying.
Why don't you just call us haters with your other incredible comebacks?
Sound crazy.
That can't be really what his comeback was.
So I wanted to piggyback off a statement that Scap made, which I was thinking about it, right? You got to just put this into perspective. When have you seen an alpha begging other people to come to his domain, to come play with me, come over here, right? Now, the reason why I say this, remember who Coach K had to recruit to Team USA in 2008, because they kept doing what? Receiving the bronze, all right? But stay with me. In 92, remember, Jordan didn't even want to play, but David Stern wanted to take the game global. He knew he had to have that marquee player to do what? To sell United States basketball overseas. So those are two instances right there showing you the impact of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. And then if you look at their rosters, right, Scap said this earlier, Pau Gasol never won a playoff game, let alone a series. He was 0 for 6 in the playoffs. So all of this, oh, well, Kobe couldn't do it without Pau. Pau was a product of Kobe. We have to constantly remind these guys of this. Just like Scottie Pippen, who's a better defender and more versatile to me than LeBron James. He is a product of Michael Jordan. These guys were able to extrapolate the best out of those guys that nobody else could do. That is the epitome of an alpha. You take what you have, you take the cards, and then you play the winning hand. LeBron can't do that. He went to Miami. You already got Chris Bosh. You got Dwayne Wade. This guy was still wanting Steve Nash and Jamal Crawford. Like, you just want the most incredible stacked deck. Like, I mean, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, who do you want to compete against? The G League? I mean, come on, man. You already crippled the Eastern Conference, and yet you want more? Can't respect that. That's why I've never put him in that class with Kobe and MJ. I'm like, no, he's not up there. He's like 2 tiers below, but no, he's not with those guys. But my next point is you have to look at it like this. In regards to, does he want the money? Does he want to win? Let's look at Tom Brady, Tim Duncan, Michael Jordan. Those guys were not receiving the max, okay? Whatever they were getting paid, it wasn't nowhere near close to the max. Why? Because they valued winning. Look at Brady, for example. 20 years in the NFL. Never had the best wide receiving core. He got the job done. Look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan never played with an all-NBA first-team player outside of David Robinson. And he was already on the back nine when Tim Duncan got there. Shout out to Manu, shout out to Tony. They were never all-NBA first-team caliber players. Tim Duncan wins 5. Also beating LeBron James in 2 of those situations. So you have to sacrifice something, because it's a quote from Nick. I think it's Nicola Machiavelli. Do the ends justify the means? So if I sacrifice the money, but yet I'm winning, right? It's justified, because you're going to get endorsements outside of that.
3, 2, 1, go.
No, he does not want to value winning. No, he wants the money. He wants everything handed to him because he's been entitled since his AAU days, and he's been mildly disciplined in this current era now in the NBA. So no, he doesn't want to win.
All right, real fast before we get to Nick and drop the link, Arena Sphere. I think it is really Gilbert Arenas, and people are saying it is, because dropping $60, most common people won't do that. So unless you're just rich otherwise, you're probably Gilbert Arenas rich. But thanks for the $20.
Millionaire making it rain.
Yeah. He says, what takes is crazy. I think that was directed towards you, Robin.
Of course it was directed at me. Absolutely. And once again, why are you asking me what takes are crazy? Don't ask me what takes are crazy. Every take you have is crazy. I've said on my channel many times. If you don't know me, check me out, man. Sports and Fitness Rants, man. I got the facts. Once again, I grew up watching the 80s and the 90s era of NBA. I watched it growing up. That's what I'm speaking to, the perspective. Everything that I've heard you ever say about the 80s or the 90s, the perspective of those guys, it's been off the money, man. So that's what I'm talking about. Don't ask me what takes, man. Your takes is off the money, man. Don't speak about the NBA before 2010, man. I know you might have played in the NBA in the mid to late 2000s and all that stuff, no doubt, man. But you're not keeping your integrity, Gilbert Arenas. Keep your integrity, my man. Stop coming in here dropping money, man. Drop $1. Drop $1. You got something to say? Drop $1, man. Or go on your podcast tomorrow, man, and speak some nonsense. But make sure you shout out Sports and Fitness Rants, man, because I got the facts, man. You guys ain't keeping the facts, man. Y'all need to stop talking about Michael Jordan. He ain't close to LeBron James, man. Not close to him, man.
All right, and then we got a super chat from Animaniac. I believe it's to AOH, unless it's to Nick. It says, LeBrick needs max money to pay off the media for cheesy MVP and all NBA votes. He was all NBA over Jaylen Brown this year. Shake my head.
I think it's just a comment.
Yo, hold up. Yo, this dude FYF, he didn't talking about, yo, Dart, he trying to shut your business down. Yo, my man, remember, I was here from the beginning, man. Me and Dog were here from the beginning, man, when it was just nobody watching our channel. We were doing these live streams. Nick knows there was nobody watching us, man. Nobody out here shutting down the business. I was here from the beginning, man, from the bottom, man. Someone like AOH coming on the show, someone like Uncommon Sense, my man Hoop God coming through, someone like a Scap Attack. We've had guys like Uncut, Hoops come through. You got this dude Gilbert Arenas in here. The reason y'all is here because we making noise, because we got the facts. Don't talk about destroying business. We making the business. We are the business, man. Y'all a joke, man. Once again, y'all are being exposed now because you ain't hold yourselves to the integrity. Y'all out here for views and for the money. Remember that. All of y'all like that.
Yeah, I'm never following him ever.
You got to stop. You got to stop reading his comments.
I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing Michael Jordan fans of the best shirt right now.
Yeah.
Don't ever let me go right after him ever.
Gilbert Arenas' fan base. I got to ask Gilbert Arenas how you feel about your fan base being people who are your fan base because you're talking shit about Michael Jordan. Other than that, they have no idea who you are. That's your career. You only exist today because you have made a career talking nonsense. Your own fans never knew who you were until you went on podcasts talking trash. Your NBA legacy made you forgettable. They had no idea who you were until you made yourself relevant again, going on television saying nonsense, because we live in a corrupt society where people like to tune in to nonsense. Congratulations on resurrecting your career.
Hey, can I chime in real quick? So I always get this, right? Anytime I share this live to the other platforms, the first thing they'll say, well, why you guys always talking about LeBron and blah, blah. I'm like, what? Do you complain when Clutch Sports is always talking about Jordan? I'm like, which one is it? Like, turnabout is fair play. Don't get upset at us because we're doing the same thing, except we're telling the truth. We're not out here displaying narratives and lies. So I just wanted to chime in on that.
Guys, real quick, fact check me here. Fact check me. True or false? Gilbert Arenas was the first amnesty contract in NBA history.
Oh, dude, I don't know, man.
That's a good question right there, Scap.
I think
When
he
he got
was.
hurt?
I believe he was, and it was Gilbert had one of the most egregious contracts in NBA history. That dude was making like 25+ mil a year while he was still playing in China. So Gil, come on, baby, make it rain if it's really you. Show us more than 60. You got it in the bank. Come on.
Oh, wow.
I just learned what an amnesty contract was because the Mavs got rid of Davis Bertans in last year's draft, and I found out they moved him under something like that. And essentially means your contract is like so bad for what the team's getting from you, or you're hurt, or whatever, right? They're just getting nothing out of you. So like the NBA essentially gives you back a rebate on that contract to go do other things, whatever the front office decides to do with the money. But yeah.
Nick, well, if you want to answer,
Hey guys,
Scap,
I'm running out of signal. I'm hiking here, so I might have to bow out, but I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on. Nice to have you join, Scap.
Absolutely, AOH.
All right, AOH.
I hope the wig holds up for your hike, brother.
Yeah, shoot up a flare if you get lost, bro.
Hey, take it easy, AOH.
Nick,
Yes,
you want to answer Scap's question, and then we'll drop the link after.
Yeah, I'll kind of put a bow on what Scap had said about the money, as well as the first question the Arena Sphere guy had dropped. I've never specifically thought about why hasn't LeBron taken less money. I mean, obviously, just my first reaction, it's got to be some kind of ego thing, right? He's got to be top 5 paid, right? Or it's some kind of sign that other guys are better than him. That's kind of what I would boil it down to right now. But in terms of what he said, like taking less money, like I remember Dirk did this. I remember Duncan did this. Like we've all heard of hometown deals, sweetheart deals or something where they take a little less because they want to go after a free agent or two, right? This happens all the time, right? Like I don't know why he's saying just because maybe Kobe or Jordan did it. And specifically Jordan in the 90s when the new hard salary cap had essentially been at it, was being followed in its most stringent form that we've ever seen. It's not really surprising that Jordan never took a pay cut in that sort of context, right? But one thing I also wanted to say, too, is I never understood why guys don't take less money, especially in today's league. I mean, LeBron is a billionaire, right? Like probably a few times over by now. And I just don't understand what the difference of $5 more million on your contract or $10 more million on your contract is, right? If you really want to win, it seems like now is the best time ever for you to take a little less money. You don't need it. We're not saying you got to be paid 10 mil a year, right? We're not saying you should get paid like the 8th man on the bench, but yeah, like you could definitely take a little less, free up some room. The way the NBA salary, kind of get a little off topic here, it is so I think it's the most complex one of the major sports. And so a little million here, 2 million here, 3 million here, it can make a lot of dominoes fall in the right way if you have a good front office who knows what they're doing, right? So, 5 million can make a little bit of a difference depending on how things are aligning. But the one thing that he said is, why should he take a pay cut for a billionaire? You're not taking a pay cut for a billionaire. The salary cap is the cap, right? It's going to get hit one way or another. You are taking a pay cut for someone else on the team. I don't understand how he even got to that conclusion that because LeBron takes 5 million less, like the owner's pocketing 5 million. No, that 5 million goes to someone else to sign them or go after a free agent, extend someone, etc. Right? So that was the one thing that makes no sense. He's kind of missing the point, I think, with that. Not that I'm surprised, but and also, yeah, we talk about working it out. I remember when the Heat came together, didn't the big three work out their salary situation so that they could make it work?
They all took slightly less.
Yeah. So I mean, why he doesn't do that again, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it worked the first time, right? So, but yeah, that's just what I got to say on that.
Dart, real quick, I just want to apologize. I didn't mean to hijack the panel with my question, but I do just want to put a real fast bow on it. If you guys remember back at the trade deadline when the news story was percolating around that LeBron James there was some interest between the Warriors in acquiring LeBron James. Yeah. If that story is to be believed or not, I'll leave it up to you. But Rich Paul was certainly circulating that storyline in the subsequent days after the trade deadline culminated that the Warriors reached out to the Lakers and were interested in bringing LeBron James on board. And I just happened to see, I do not watch the fraudulent Stephen A. Smith very often, but someone sent me a link to something where he had Rich Paul on air with him. So Stephen A. was interviewing Rich Paul, and Rich Paul gave us like a stunning glimpse into the mindset of Clutch and LeBron James, where basically Paul said, okay, let's play it out. What if LeBron goes somewhere else and he wins? So what? Like, what does that do? What does that add? And if he goes somewhere and loses, there will just be more criticism heaped on him. I think in the delusional mind of LeBron and his sycophantic camp, he doesn't have to do anything else. He told us in 2016 when they beat the Warriors, he told us, he went on record and said, that one right there made me the GOAT. He genuinely believes he doesn't have to do anything else. That is what makes him different from these other guys, the true greats, like the Kobe Bryants and the Michael Jordans, who felt like they wasted a year of their lives if they didn't win a championship. It was all about winning. That was it. For LeBron, it's about the prestige, the money, the fame. It very, very low on his totem pole ever came winning. And that's why, guys, he's done relatively so little of it in 21 years and counting.
Real quick, just so we can be accurate, they did it one time in 2005, the amnesty clause. One time it was like 20 players, and then it became official in 2010, I believe, 2010, 2011, and Gilbert was the first one once it was in the CBA.
Real fast, I'm pretty sure this is the real Gilbert Arenas. I'm on a different platform. I know there's like the check mark and all this other stuff, but I'm using Restream. I can't see any of the of those things. So he super chatted me for $200. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Damn. You got big money.
Yep. Drop the link. And no, I wasn't the first amnesty. They had one in 2005.
Yeah, we just went over that.
So just because y'all are on the panel, are you good to let Gilbert and I guess FYF up here just to have them on the panel? Or how do y'all want to do this?
Yeah, I got some questions for Gil.
Are y'all good with it? Because if someone's
absolutely
not good with it, then I'm not going to do it.
Yo, let's do it, man. Hell yeah.
All right. I'm dropping the link. Y'all can call in through the link on my channel. So
I'd be curious to know his
Gilbert, man,
take
he should
about
have hit
the
my
Clippers
PayPal
day.
up, man. You got money like that. You throwing the money out.
Yo,
Why
is
throw
this
my
really
PayPal
Gilbert
up,
Arenas though?
You know what I'm saying? Come on,
I am
man. You
kind of like
guys, man,
fanning
you guys
out
be
right
killing me
now.
with
It's
this
kind of
money,
cool to
man.
talk about Gilbert
I'm pretty
Arenas.
sure
I'm
it's
not
him.
You
gonna
guys
lie.
all about the money.
I'm still a basketball fan. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I dropped the link. So as soon
Can
as
he mail me some size 11.5 Adidas, please?
Yeah, let me get an autograph, bro. I think I got some
rest of the
Gilbert Arenas
mods.
basketball cards somewhere in my up in my attic.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the
hold
few
on
that
to your
bought them when they
integrity,
came
man.
out.
Oh shit.
E-Man, who is this?
Yo, killing me?
Yes, who is this?
It's E-Man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna E-Man. I'm gonna put you backstage just because if it is Gilbert, then I'm gonna have him come. So, but I'll put you backstage. If they don't call up, then I'll bring you back up.
All right, no problem.
You didn't even let him say goodbye.
I mean, you should let him ask his question. He was already on.
Hey, you know what, E-Man? They're taking a while. Yeah. Do you have a question for us? You got a minute to ask since they haven't come on yet.
Yeah, I got a question. So at one point, y'all are probably call LeBron like a ring chaser, stuff like that, right? But at the same time, you say he doesn't care about winning. I just feel like that's like contradictory. So I just wanted to get y'all thoughts on that.
I never once called LeBron James a ring chaser in my life, man. Once again, so that doesn't really relate to anything I have to say. But once again, what evidence points to LeBron James wanting to win? LeBron James stacking the deck. See, LeBron James may want to win in the aspect, yes, he's playing basketball to, so to speak, win. But where's the accountability for that? There's no accountability. So LeBron James insulates himself with all these things, all these narratives around him going into every season. They're already setting it up for next year. I mentioned this earlier. They're already setting up all the excuses for LeBron James to have built in. So once again, it's irrelevant whether LeBron James is ring chasing or not. He's not proving himself to really want to win. If he really wanted to win, I ask you, my man, is he going to stand around on defense the way he does? Is he really just going to stand around and lollygag and walk and blow on his hands and put his hands on his hips? Is that a winning mentality? No, it's not. So once again, LeBron James is not exhibiting anything or any ideal that he really wants to win. This is why he won't play in an actual system. He won't allow his teammates to help him.
And I want to follow up with the question that
Gilbert. Gilbert, I think you got. Where's that, Gilbert? I think
Yeah,
you might.
can you
I can hear you. I think you might have some background. I don't know if you're listening through your speaker, but I think it's gone away now.
You can hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. I got a question for you as you come in the door, though. Do you think that Michael Jordan fans are the best?
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. I'm a LeBron James fan. I'm a fan of greats. So I can argue on every side of the coin on all of them.
But
do
Gil,
you think
who's
that
the
Michael
greatest
Jordan
in your
fans are the
estimation?
best?
Are they the best? At what exactly? Holding the legacy, arguing about stuff that's irrelevant to today's game. I mean, I don't.
I guess a good question, Gilbert, is how do you define? I know you have a take on who the GOAT is, so to speak. So I think this is an important, clarification to make. Everybody defines the GOAT or defines greatness in different ways, shapes, and forms. So how do you define the GOAT in your own estimation, and who most completely and succinctly checks all of your specific characteristics of what that entails?
The way they dominated the game, offensively, defensively, how they played the game, the fear factor. Jordan's my GOAT, right? Just like, most of everybody. LeBron James is second, Kobe's third. And that's the order that I've always had it in. No matter what LeBron does, LeBron is not going to be number one. There's just things he can't get that Jordan accomplished. If we want to use accomplishments, longevity has helped LeBron. But just the way the game is being played,
it can't. If you're just a true Jordan fan, there's stats that LeBron can't get that you're gonna always use against him. So, there's no point of even arguing it, right? You can argue on both sides. That's why I tell people, when you're making this argument, argue for who you like. Because at the end of the day, you spend more time arguing about what the other person don't have when you can do that on both sides. So you should just argue what your guy has and let the LeBron fan argue on what LeBron has and let the Kobe fan argue on his side. And that's the easiest way to do it versus just saying the all negative about one person and you can't even, you know what I mean? It's easier just defend your guy and put out his stats like a job interview, right? You don't go in there talking shit about the person that's coming in behind you or who came in before you. You just talk about your resume, and that's how you're supposed to do it.
Let me just ask a real quick follow-up. Because I'm a big Kobe supporter myself. Why you played against them both? Why do you elevate LeBron over Kobe Bryant? Many of your peers would disagree with you. Lots of people that went against both will put Kobe Bryant over LeBron. Why do you think different?
Kobe's my favorite player. We're giving him credit for he looked the closest to Mike. Well, he looked the closest to Mike in, the back end of Mike's career, right? The second three-peat. He didn't look like Mike in 84 to 91. He did not look like that dude, right? He looked like Michael Jordan, second three-peat era, right? The Kobe 8 didn't look nothing like any of the Mikes, right? He had his own style. But they had the killer instinct. They had the one-on-one play. They had the willingness to take the team on their back. And that's what we give Kobe credit for, because that was the first time that we seen a player with that caliber when we coined Mike as the guy, right? Before Mike, that wasn't a thing. So when we seen Mike do what Mike did, we identified that is what greatness is. And we've been judging everybody to that ever since, right? So LeBron being the face of a team, being the face of the league, and he can't take the end of the game shots. He doesn't have the one-on-one skill, right? He's more of an all-around player. And I just think his game overall was better than what Kobe's did.
Yo, hold up, man. Hold on. I want to just say something real quick, man. All right, we're talking about this stuff with Michael Jordan. We're talking about this stuff with LeBron James, man, and all these things, man. I don't understand how you can call yourself a Michael Jordan fan and at the same time say you're a LeBron James fan. It don't add up, because once again, when we talk about everything that Michael Jordan represented, everything that he stood for on the basketball court, that's the complete opposite of what LeBron James has been doing, the way that he's been carrying himself. All of these things, man, you can't deny this. So how can you call yourself a Michael Jordan fan or say that you respect the way that Michael Jordan went out there on the basketball court and gave it his all these things, man? I've heard you make a mockery of the guys from the 80s and the 90s playing 82 games, and you played it off as these guys are using steroids. You had the nerve to come out there and use that language against a great Michael Jordan, the other great players I grew up watching, saying that the only reason they could play the 82 games, the only reason they could show up to work every single day and not cry and moan about these things is because they were taking chemicals, they were pumping their bodies with stuff. That's absolute crap, man. How dare you say that, man? How could you even be a basketball player and represent or respect basketball by saying these things, man? Those guys show up to work. The reason they were able to play 82 games is the reasons you know, because they cared. They cared. The games mattered them. They played with a love of the game. They respected their contracts. They respected the fans. They showed up to work. I tell people on my channel all the time, man, when I was growing up and I wanted to see Charles Barkley or I wanted to see Karl Malone or John Stockton or whoever it was I was going and watching, and I turned the TV on, I didn't have to worry about these guys load managing. I didn't have to worry about these guys not being there for some nonsensical reasons. If these guys missed games, they were legit injuries. There was a legit reason why they missed games. Now, you can't say the same thing. This is why they had to put a league minimum on these guys. That wasn't going down for the guys that I grew up watching. So when they asked the questions, oh, why do we have to have a league minimum? These guys in the past didn't have a minimum. No, because those guys show up to work. They didn't need these kind of limitations and regulations on them. These are the things I don't understand, Gilbert, how you could be a fan and not really say anything, and how you could say these guys are using steroids when they're out there giving their all, man. How could you not respect that?
Hey, that was great. I appreciate it. Well, I did come in the league in 2001. I had teammates on steroids, so I can say that with positivity. Now, I can be a fan because I'm a fan of greatness itself, right? So I don't pick between sides. I'm a Laker fan. I like Kobe and Shaq. I don't pick sides, right? That's one. I'm in the middle. Two is, so every other sport had problems with steroids besides the NBA. The reason the NBA didn't have any steroid problems was because the NBA only had one test, which was October 1st. All drug tests was October 1st, and we didn't see you again until October 1st the following year, right? And I know that it's kind of strange, right, that only the 90s players and late 80s players only are the most ball-headed players in NBA history.
Yo, Gilbert, man,
Isn't
yo,
it?
hold on, man. I
I'll let you speak, right? I'll let you speak. How come every player?
You kind of come on here with ball-headedness. These are the things you're coming in because you've seen guys taking steroids. So let's say everyone's taking steroids, Gilbert. Everybody in NBA's history was taking steroids. George Mikan was taking steroids. Bill Russell was taking steroids. Everybody, Bob Pettit, all these dudes was taking steroids. That still doesn't escape you from the notion, the fact that these guys are not playing the 82 games. They should be able to play the 82 games then, my man. Why are they not allowed to do it? Why can't they do it? You trying to talk about these guys were only testing one time? You sound ridiculous right now. You're telling me in today's day and age, there's now more ways to avoid getting caught or more ways to avoid suspicion than back in the day? Yo, listen, man, I'm into health and fitness. And once again, you sound ridiculous. The reason that these guys can't play the 82 games right now is because of the mentality. These guys are mentally weak, man. They're soft. And this is why I challenge you. How dare you say you're a Michael Jordan fan when you support LeBron James and his antics, the flopping around? You spoke about LeBron James' longevity. What longevity, my man? He hasn't made an all-defensive team in his 30s. In his 30s. You talk about bullheadedness. You came in with bullheadedness? Come on, stop it right now, man. Stop it. These guys ain't playing, man.
If everyone does steroids, then it's a moot point to Robin's question or what he's trying to get at.
I don't know what he's trying to get at. I'm just letting him talk.
If everyone's on steroids, still why do players act the way they do today versus what Robin is saying about the 80s and 90s?
Talk. You sound ridiculous talking about the guys that I grew up watching were only playing those games because they were on steroids. John Stockton showed up to an NBA game after getting into a car accident, my man. After getting into a car accident. The game mattered to these guys. Don't ever come in here with that nonsense, man. You sound crazy.
Yeah, and I played, so I didn't.
The one you played, I watched it. You didn't watch it. That's why I told you to shut your mouth.
I played it.
From that era. You didn't watch it. Just because you play in the NBA don't mean that you respect the NBA's history.
I watch games all day, every single day. It's my life.
Great minds never played a lick in the NBA. Get out of here with that nonsense, man.
Hey, listen, can I get some sneaks? Can I just get some sneaks? Real quick before you leave.
Again, and you can see some of those players has been going through kidney problems, like somebody like Alonzo, right? Alonzo having kidney problems, right? He's having problems now, right? You look at how they came into the league and look at them 2 years later, they were ultra buff. But that's besides the point. Besides the point is, can I ask, who's the smart? Hey, sports and fitness, I get it. Who's the smartest person here?
You're digging yourself a further hole.
Who's the smartest? Hey, who's the smartest businessman here?
It's obviously not you.
Which one of you guys consider yourself a smart businessman?
Making money at athletics doesn't mean you're a good businessman.
I ask you guys, nobody wants to raise their hand? Who is the smart businessman here?
What are we defining smart businessman?
A business.
Just the most money? Just the most money?
If I give you a player and say, as a business, you can have this guy for 10 years, right? You can have him for 10 years and you're going to have to move on. Or you can shorten his season by 12 to 15 games every year and you can hold him for 17.
Why didn't the guys in the 80s do that?
Which one would you do? Which one would you do?
I want the guy. Wait a minute. I want the guy.
Jordan didn't do it, and he won 6.
Isn't availability the best ability?
No, see, this is the problem. You guys are thinking.
Hold on. I'll let you guys try to respond. Let me respond, and nobody else wants to respond. What do you mean? You say once again, you're saying nonsense. So once again, you expose anyone in that notion because they're not out there competing, giving it their all. Once again, these are the things I'm talking about. The guys that I grew up watching, they were out there competing. They weren't worried about 10, 15 years down the road. Once again, nothing is promised tomorrow. You could get hurt the very next play, and you never know if you're going to play. So you're supposed to go out there for the love of the game and honor your contract, play for the fans, man, and go out there and do your thing. You talking about playing 15 years or 20 years. So what, play 15, 20 years at 75%? Once again, I asked you, my man, Gilbert Arenas, I asked you this. How come LeBron James has never made an all-NBA defensive team in his 30s? Why is he not winning MVP in his 30s? That's not longevity. That's you hanging around and once again, sitting around on defense, blowing on your hands and not doing a damn thing, man.
Robin,
I get it personal for you again for the basketball. If you're a business, do you want your product there for 10 years or 15?
Gil,
see, you guys have the notion.
If I win more than 10, then I want the whole.
Again, you guys have the notion that the players themselves is going into a locker room.
LeBron's done in 21.
Again, you guys think the players are going into the game saying, I don't want to play. The organization is saying, the organization, the coaching is capitalizing on the players being longer. So they're saying, you are only going to play a certain amount of games. They have heart monitors on now. So if your BPA goes too high, they take you off the court. There's no guy today, no star today. The team or the coach will have played 82 games. That is not going to happen anymore.
Gil, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and I disagree with practically everything you say most of the time. And I think some people on the panel right now are being unfair to you. I think a lot of what you're saying is making sense. I want to also add that really Greg Popovich and the Spurs ushered in the era of load management. It really wasn't LeBron James. But Gil,
of course it wasn't.
Gil, we have you on, and I want to take advantage of it, of having you on. So I just want to steer the conversation away from the steroid element.
Say that one more time. Who did it?
In my estimation, Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs.
So it wasn't Tim Duncan.
No.
So it wasn't Tim Duncan.
You're not gonna.
So it wasn't Tony Parker, right? So Tony Parker didn't say, "I'm done."
Was not sacrificing winning. The Spurs were still winning. The reason they were doing that was because they were making deep postseason runs every season. So they maneuvered it. Tim Duncan wasn't playing 50 games and 60 games. He was still playing 75 games, and they weren't sacrificing the winning. Don't forget that.
Again, you just want to talk. Who did it? Was it the player
going along with
it the coach?
Isn't an answer. Going along with it isn't a reply.
Again,
like I said,
who? Like you have this idea that the players are controlling. You have the idea that the players themselves is controlling. If I told you today, as your boss, that you're not going to play, you're not going to fucking play.
So the front office is doing it, but they also implement a 65-game minimum. Which is it?
Which is a double jeopardy because the coaching staff and the owners are telling the players not to play, and then they backdoor them and say you can't get a supermax. Then you're going to get someone like Embiid who gets hurt and says, "Fuck that. I need to go play." Donovan Mitchell says, "Fuck that, I'm going to play." Halliburton went out there, hurt himself trying to play to get to the 65. Because now, think about what I'm saying. See, the fact that he's shaking his head means he doesn't even listen. He doesn't even actually comprehend verbiage. He just.
What are you doing, man? You think you're making an argument here. All you're doing is digging a further ditch. You're exposing these guys and the lack of effort they give to taking care of themselves off the court. That's all you're doing, man. This is why these guys break down. But you're going to argue and these guys will tell us they're bigger, stronger, faster than when Michael Jordan played. How is it possible, Gilbert? You're all exposing them. Why can't they be healthy? These guys are falling apart. If they're bigger, stronger, faster, why is the management worried about these guys? Because they're soft, they're frail, they don't take care of themselves. They're a bunch of podcasters like you. They're a bunch of soft dudes, man. There's no real men among them. Look at the outfits these guys wear. They're a bunch of clowns. They're more concerned about what they're going to wear to the game instead of actually playing in the damn game. They don't want to play with that love. Don't give the excuses for these guys.
Man, it's all your
I have a legitimate question for Gil.
Like what he's saying is all opinion. Like,
no, they're actually wearing those outfits, you fool. They're actually wearing them.
What the fuck does the outfits have to do with anything?
Injuries. You're a goof.
Robin.
Hey, again, let me ask you a question. Let's say you have Maxey, right? And if Maxey makes the All-NBA team, which he needs to make 65 games, you have to pay him the same salary as Embiid, right? He hurts his ankle. He has to be cleared by the doctor first. He's coming up to the 65 games. If he makes it, Supermax. What the fuck do you do as an organization? Do you make sure he does not play, or do you put him in the game?
So
Gil, the whole point of what Robin is trying to say is that
I don't know what he's trying to say. He just hates LeBron James so much that he can't see anything else. So he is meaningless to
LeBron
it.
James' name once, my man. I didn't mention his name once in my entire thing that I said to you. So once again, you sound ridiculous.
You didn't say LeBron. You didn't say that's all that's in your mouth.
I didn't mention his name once, dude. Stop it.
Gil, we're not players like you, and Lamont had played some too. We're fans, so we like to see the players play. I know you're explaining how these things happen, but can you at least not see that a lot of the fans think that it's trash to watch them not play? Nobody cares about the salary cap as a fan in respect to the teams. I understand that you're trying to put some perspective in this, but really, I think except for administrative nerds, nobody cares. They want to see the guys play. They want to see them play well. They want to see their team be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a fan show. It's in the name. So my question is why should we consider those things in respect to it appealing to the entertainment value of the league?
Because you guys are not putting in business in perspective. You're not thinking about the business. It's business of basketball first. It's entertainment first. So, like I asked you guys before, if I can hold my guy for 16 years versus the 8 years when I played, think about when I played. If I was injured, the doctor told me 10 to 12 weeks. They had me on the court 6 to 8 weeks out there hobbling. Today, 10 to 12 weeks, it's 14 to 16 weeks for these guys.
Hey,
because they realize I want my product out there 100% so he can put people in the seats. It's not about winning. There's only 5 teams in the NBA every year that wants to win championships. Not 30, 5. 10 to 15 teams, they don't even give a shit. The other 10 want to make the playoffs.
But Gil, as fans though, people.
I'm sorry, as a fan, I'm sorry.
No, as fans, people.
I'm trying to give you the real deal. If I have LeBron James at 40 back to back, and this is so you can look at the schedule. If I have LeBron James back to back, and we're playing against Jokic, right? We're playing against Jokic in Sacramento. I have him on a back to back game. They're gonna sit him out against Jokic, because they're going to lose, and they're going to go for the win in Sacramento. That's where he's going to play. That's what the team's going to do.
Gil, can I ask you a question? Switch gears a little bit.
You're exposing all these dudes.
Switch gears just
I'm exposing. I'm telling you the business. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's not my problem.
Gilbert, let me
Either you want to learn and listen,
We're
or
arguing
the
We're arguing the merits, not what it is. We're arguing the merits of it.
Clear. Yo, hold on, Nick. Sorry, man. One thing I want to make clear, I'm done. I'm going to let y'all have this, man. I want to make one thing very clear here. My man Gilbert, listen here. You're speaking all this business nonsense. That's fine, yo. Remember something. The NBA is only around because of the people. The people make the NBA. The players, they make the game. Y'all make the game. Yes, there's no game of the players, but there's no NBA. There's no money. There's no none of y'all getting paid without the fans. So why not give your best and put your best product on the court every night? Why would these players not want to be on the court and give their effort every night for the people that pay their salaries, man? It's the fans, man. My God.
And this is exactly what the media has done. You guys think the players somehow have control like they do, right? Have you guys ever called into the owner? Have you told the owner? Have you told the owner that you're not going to support if they keep doing this? No, because you're so focused on the player themselves.
Hey,
when we're in a lockout, do you know what a lockout actually is?
Didn't Kawhi Leonard?
You know what a lockout is? A lockout happens when the owners themselves can't come to agreements on sharing their TV deals. So because they can't come to an agreement, they decide we're going to lock out the players.
This ain't the NFL, Gilbert. This ain't the NFL, man. Stop it.
I'm legitimately
let
disappointed.
me ask you a question to switch gears real quick.
I'm legitimately disappointed this conversation has gone down this path. We've got access to Gil here. Let's talk some legitimate basketball points here. Let's get off.
I have a like the amnesty, right? You know what the amnesty is? No, you know what the amnesty is because I heard you mention it.
I did.
A player in there. Okay, good.
Amnesty is basically this: as an owner, Jay, you gave me a bad contract. It's handicapped your team, right? Because I go against your salary cap. So you say, hey, man, I need a way out of the bad decision I made. So they give you an amnesty clause. So you can amnesty someone like me. You still have to pay me your money, but it doesn't count against your cap.
It's not that the ownership made a bad contract. It's just that it became a bad contract. You can pay a player what they're worth, and if they get hurt, that's not a bad contract by the ownership. It just means there's such a big gap between the contract and what the player is giving you or he's unavailable that you get a rebate back from the NBA, from my understanding.
You don't get money back. It just doesn't cost against your cap. So basically, you get to pay him dollar for dollar. It doesn't cost you $2. Right?
It's not a bad contract by the ownership. I don't like the way you framed it as if they're purposely
it is a
bad contract.
It is a frame. I'm just being honest. It's a frame. I have two knee injuries. I can go with myself. I have three knee injuries in 14 months. And you give me 111, right? Is that a bad contract?
Yeah, but it's not because they put you in a position to have a bad contract. It's just unfortunate.
It's called the value. I don't know a sneaker is a bad buy until I buy it. And then I realize, oh, shit.
We can't predict the future either. Like, if you get hurt, you're acting as if management gave you a bad contract knowing you would get hurt.
Okay, but at the end of the day, it ended up being a bad contract. And as the league, can you please help me out? I need an amnesty. So I'm still going to pay you all your money, but it doesn't cost me against my cap.
So you still win, right? Don't you still get your
business? Money? It's a business first. It's a business. This is all business.
Yeah, the sunken cost. They're kind of getting like a write-off. Yeah.
Let me get this question off real quick. With the NBA being a business then, Gil, and not to mention I'm the only dude in this room with your sneaks, just throwing that out there. With it being a business, the drafting and Bronny, business decision or strategic decision?
I think it's more business than anything. I think the storyline is good for just the Laker itself culture. The end of the bench is the 15th player who would never get in. So drafting a guy that his dad is on the team, his dad is the prominent face, right? Now you're thinking about Bronny's jerseys. Those will be sold just as high as his father's. Right, they're going to make more money off of Bronny James being on a team than they will lose, right? So it was more of a feel-good story for the Lakers organization for the next 3 years. That's really all it is.
So my counter to that then is, because the media plays a part, like you said, a lot of these talking heads saying, LeBron just wants to win. He's a winner, doesn't take shortcuts. A move like drafting Bronny, taking a space away from somebody, relatively that could have helped immediately. That's not like a sign of wanting to win.
Remember, it's the 15 spot. 15 spot is not helping you. It's delusion if you think the 15th and 14th player is really there to do something. It's not, right? Those are the spots for Thanasis and his brother, right? Klay Thompson tried to get his brother. LaMelo Ball tried to get his brother on the team. Those spots is for someone who's really not gonna, like most of those spots, to be honest, are favorites of a player or agent. Like when I was the head of Washington, an agent would call me and say, hey man, I'm trying to get this guy, a 10-day or 20-day. Can you vouch for him? All right, no problem. That's how a lot of those 14 and 15 guys are. It is what it is.
So what about, I brought this up earlier. I know Jay, you've been holding on to ask a question, but I guess one thing real fast. What about those guys that you may be doing a favor for versus Bronny? I know you said it's a business first, and there is some entertainment value to it in respect to the LeBron fans. But talking about business, what about that 15th guy that isn't going to be part of the LeBron James trust fund for $1 billion? Why not try to give it to some guy like that? But you said it's a business first, and I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people have some gripes and are critical about NBA entertainment, because there's all this collusion. They try to make it act like it's organic, at least in this situation. It's laughable. I mean, I don't understand how people can go and say that Bronny, and I'm not a basketball head, y'all may know better. Maybe he is NBA worthy, but it doesn't seem like that from the outside looking in, being a bench player on a college team and all the stats and stuff. So why put him there other than to appease LeBron, and then the Lakers trying to sell this notion with LeBron that he is so good, the longevity is so long, that he's so great. And I'm not saying he's not an all-time great. I just don't think he's close to the GOAT. Is how why do that other than try to sell your main product? But what about the guy that could have got the money, the life-changing money? I mean, what do you feel about that? Because you were talking about money before with players.
No, I get what you're saying, is because it was like people think I was blackballed. No, what you're saying right now is exactly why I walked away. When I was in Memphis, I had Jeremy Pargo, and I had Josh Shelby on my team, right? And I used to see them kids work out all the time. But Coach Hollins only played veterans. I didn't have the love of the game anymore. I just got off the gun stuff. I just got amnesty, so I'm getting more money going over there. And, them putting me in before these two guys, I didn't like that feeling. It's like, I already lived my dream. I got paid. Let me move aside for those two. So I understand that part of it, where someone else deserves this spot over Bronny, right? But the father is the one that is in control, and he's in a position where this might not ever happen again, right? So my son almost died. I don't know how long I'm going to live. So I'm going to teach him the ropes for the next 2 years. And then hopefully by his senior year, which will be his college year, he will be ready for the NBA, right? But the NBA has always been about entertainment. From the 88, 87 season, I guess people are realizing that they padded a little stats. Who gives a shit? Hey, that's what they did. They were trying to build the league, right? It was basketball. John Stockton, if you look at his home assist versus his road assist, they look a little different. Steve Nash, Magic Johnson, rebounding, everything. That's how it happens. It's not something you say, oh, this is a knock against his legacy. No, that's every home stadium. If one of your friends was playing in a game and there's a team rebound, you might give it to your friend, right? So it all washes itself out. So you can't use that against people, right? It's business right now, right? It's always been. We just didn't know it back then.
Gil,
we didn't know it back then. I didn't know this was a business basketball where we see when referees come in and they extend the series. We're watching it in real time. We're literally watching it in real time. We literally can say, all right, I'm going for Chris Paul today. And then the referee comes, Scott Foster. We're like, you know what? I'm about to go against him because I already know this play. I already know what's about to happen right here. We see it in real time.
What the hell does that have to do with Chris Paul being injured so many times in the postseason, man?
He got injured.
Man, you all over.
What is it with? Like, what argument are you making that the guys were tougher back then?
Being treated by a referee a certain way is skewing the games. Chris Paul has missed many playoff games in his career. That goes to him being soft and frail. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. This is the point that I'm making.
What does that have to do with what I was just talking about? I wasn't even talking about what you're talking about.
Nah, man, you're talking about business.
Listen,
all you're doing is making excuses.
Hey, we're gonna say this. Hey, the 70s was tougher than the 80s. The 80s was tougher than the 90s. We were just whatever narrative you want. I agree with
You're making excuses.
I agree with it. I agree with your narrative. Hey, they were tougher. They were tougher back then.
I asked you originally about the steroid allegations you made about the guys in the 80s and the 90s, and you spun it into a business. You spun this thing to hot hell. You sound ridiculous. Go back in minutes. Go back and rewind this video later, my man. You sound insane. You're all over the place, man.
Gil, I want to ask you a legitimate question here. I want to ask you a follow-up. I did not get a satisfactory response to my answer earlier from you, and I do respect you taking the time and hopping on, but I have to get an answer to this because one of the basketball takes that has annoyed me the most, this is Scap Attack here. One of the basketball takes that has plagued me my entire life. I'm a few years younger than you. I watched Kobe Bryant and LeBron James their entirety of their careers. You mentioned in your answer as to what makes someone the GOAT or what makes someone great to you is their ability to dominate and impact both sides of the ball. Kobe Bryant is one of 3 players in NBA history to make at least 10 All-NBA first teams and 10 All-NBA defensive selections. Him, Tim Duncan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's it. Gil, Kobe Bryant led an NBA decade in scoring, in points per game, in points averaged, and he made 9 All-NBA defensive teams during that span. He went to 7 championships, and he won 5 back-to-back without a single other top 75 player. Has LeBron ever dominated a season to that degree? Have we seen LeBron take relatively little help? Because say what you will about Pau Gasol, he is not a top 75 player. He was a one-time All-Star with 0 All-NBA team selections through 7 years when he arrived in LA. Kobe took that, went to 3 straight NBA championships, won back-to-back, and dominated the playoffs against 50-win opponents at every level. Have we ever seen LeBron reach that peak? Have we ever seen it to the degree that you can justify putting him above Kobe Bryant, who did it at a high level at both ends of the floor while winning challenging championships?
Well, you got to say longevity, right, plays a part, right? It plays a part.
No, it doesn't.
You're saying the teams LeBron James took to the championship were talented?
More so than anything Kobe Bryant had in the second iteration of his career when he went to 3 straight and won back-to-back. Yes.
So on his team, who was as good as Paul Gasol on his team?
Can y'all hear me now?
Anthony Davis finished 7th in MVP voting that year.
Anthony Davis.
Finished 7th in MVP voting.
We're talking about Anthony. So you're talking about recent.
Team All-NBA.
No, Gilbert. Hold on,
we're
guys.
talking about recent, the bubble championship, or we're talking about them Cleveland Cavalier teams.
Guys, let me cut in here real quick.
Because if you're going to talk about Kobe at a certain age, then you have to put in when he had Anthony Davis. How old was he? How old was he when he had Anthony Davis? Like, you got to put in all perspectives of it. So if you say he had Anthony Davis, how old was he when he had Anthony Davis versus how old was Kobe when he had Paul Gasol? Or is age not playing a factor at all? Like, you guys are really talking about a fucking 39-year-old taking a pay cut. He's 39. Do you know what Jordan was at 39? He was with the Wizards, right? He was with the Wizards. And I was in the NBA. No one cared about the Wizards. No one even judged Jordan in the Wizard years. Even when he said, we're going to make the playoffs, we traded Rip Hamilton, brought in all of North Carolina, got really old, and still no one said nothing because he was 39 years old. We did not care.
Please get a word in here on this.
Play for free, my man. Don't
We did not care, and he did not play for free. He played for 51% of the team. He just didn't get it. So he did not
hear you.
Let
me answer this. Robin, please, let me jump in here. I'm not talking about Anthony Davis, Gil. I'm not talking about the Lakers. Let's take a look at LeBron's greatest championship ever. You know, the one that made him the GOAT in his own mind, the 2016 3-1 comeback against the 73-9 Warriors. Kevin Love on that team was the 3rd option for that 2016 Cavs team. The year prior, the year before he joined up in Cleveland, Kevin Love was in his mid-20s. He was 2nd team All-NBA. He averaged 24 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 assists. At the time, it was the only such line in NBA history. He was top 5 that season in PER, win share, BPM, VORP. Kevin Love was an undisputed top 10 player the year before he went to Cleveland and became the 3rd option on a team that included Kyrie Irving. That team is the team that I'm talking about. He had far more help than the Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom.
Would you take Kevin Love over Paul Gasol?
But at the time that Pau Gasol went to LA in his 7th year and the time that Kevin Love went in his 6th year to join up in Cleveland, unequivocally, yes. Look at the
Did you say 7th year? Hold on.
Pau Gasol was in his 7th NBA season when he was traded to LA in 2008.
Yeah. Kevin Love
was in his 6th NBA season. Look, Pau Gasol was a one-time All-Star in 2008. Yeah. No All-NBA teams. Kevin Love was a 2-time All-NBA second-team selection by the 6th year with Minnesota when he went to join LeBron. Remember, Gil, they traded away the first overall pick in Cleveland to bring on Kevin Love.
Can I ask Jay one question?
And wait. Kevin Love had a rebounding title too. Don't forget about that.
So if we're gonna use that, so Kobe has 5 rings, right?
Correct.
3 of the rings, he wasn't the lead dog. So if we take those 3 away and then go against against LeBron's 4.
Gil, how are we defining lead dog? Because let me give you a real quick overview of Kobe's 3 rings with Shaquille O'Neal. I'll give you a real quick overview. In 4 finals runs with Shaq. In 4 finals runs with Shaq, because Shaq and Kobe went to 4 NBA finals.
This guy.
Shaq averaged 1 more point per game than Kobe in the 4 playoff runs that presented finals appearances for the Lakers. Kobe led the NBA playoffs in clutch time scoring. He led not only the Lakers, he led the NBA playoffs in clutch time scoring in that three-peat. He was all NBA defense first or second team. He was the leading assist player on the Lakers and the lead ball handler and facilitator. Are we really sure that Kobe was not just a co-best player? Are we sure that people like you that like to present Kobe in revisionism as a Robin or as a second option, are we sure that it wasn't a Batman?
People like me, didn't I say Kobe is my favorite player of all time?
You did, but I still like justification of why LeBron James is above him. And this has been bothering me for 20 years of how and when. See, this is why I don't like the LeBron and Jordan comparison.
Listen.
Kobe.
See, that's why I say you argue for who you like versus arguing for somebody else. So when I say put stuff in perspective, who was Kobe's coach, right? It all matters, right? We're talking about a guy who had 6 rings. So Kobe had the biggest advantage of a great mentor versus someone who didn't have a mentor. That means he had to learn it on his own in real time.
What does that?
So
whose fault is that, Gilbert?
You have to take in this stuff.
Del Harris, man, and didn't start in the league, man. He had to earn his spot, man.
What does that have to do with Kevin Love and Pau?
Yo, Gilbert, man.
What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? Speak English. What are you saying?
Man.
What are you saying?
Absolutely insane, man. And
what are you actually saying? I hear the insults. I hear the insults. What are you saying?
You're wasting everybody's time here with this nonsense.
What are you saying? What are you saying? I hear your insult. What are you saying, though?
Bring me on Gil's Arena.
I said Kobe had Phil Jackson, who was a 6-time champion.
Over Larry Bird.
So wait.
LeBron James number 3 all time. Or number 2 all time. You sound insane, man.
I don't even know what he's talking about. I actually don't even know what he's talking about.
No, Gil, I'm asking.
That's what people say when they have nothing to say back.
No, you're just talking. I don't know. I don't know.
Like that guy.
LeBron James.
Where did you finish? You just come in and talking.
The Larry Bird comments, man.
Wait,
Larry Bird comments.
What does it have to do with Kevin Love and Pau?
You're talking like a battered female. You just pop in and pop out and then come with the projections.
You guys flip-flop so much.
Larry Bird. Who the fuck is talking about Larry Bird?
George Costanza, you're living a lie. You can't keep up with your own lies and narratives, my man. You don't even remember the things you say. You couldn't answer me earlier. What about Larry Bird? You tell me that Larry Bird's not better than LeBron James all time? He's not greater than LeBron James.
No. Get the fuck out of here with Larry. Larry Bird is better than. He ain't even better than Kevin Durant. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Have me on there.
Get the fuck out of here.
Wait. Gil, who was more accomplished in their first 7 seasons, Kevin Love or Pau Gasol?
What's that again?
Who was more accomplished within their first 7 seasons, Kevin Love or Pau Gasol?
Kevin Love.
Okay, that's what Scap was talking about.
Okay. Oh yeah, Kevin Love.
As the third option.
Can I ask Scap one question?
No, he was the first option. He was the first option, went to third option.
Scap, can I ask you one question? Let me just ask you one question, Scap. Let's just for the sake of it, let's just say Gil says you're right. I'm gonna bump LeBron to 3 and Kobe to 2. And now I'm saying once that happens, what does it change? Because and it's really a hypothetical question, because I always tell people when it comes to everybody's top 10, it's just your own biases kicking in. You might like another guy for whatever reasons a little bit better than another guy, so you might give him a few bumps here, and those bumps could be argued by other people based on reasons that you just put out there. But what happens, Jay, is this: if he does make that change based on everything that you said, it still changes absolutely nothing. He can move Kobe to 2, LeBron to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, and it still does not change anything with regards to LeBron James's greatness or Kobe's greatness, because you're still talking about the top less than 1% of players in NBA history. And so what I'm saying is everybody's top 10 has a little bit of bias in it. I've talked to Dart. I said, I got Scottie Pippen in my top 25. That's just my bias towards guys like Scottie Pippen who kind of get shunned a little bit. But that doesn't, no matter where I rank them or no matter where you rank them, my point is it doesn't take away from what he did or his greatness. Just with Gil, he got 2 and 3. What is that? How is 2 or 3 disrespectful to Kobe?
Just so we understand, when I say Kobe's my favorite, I'm the only person that has all the rings that I got okayed by Kobe Bryant for the 5 rings. So I can just put him at 1 if I want to. But I like the sport, dog. I like what everybody brings to it. I learned my work ethic from Kobe Bryant himself, right?
I want to follow up after Scott.
I've learned, like, when people talk about, like, a madman, he was a fucking madman. That's just, if you say who was the hardest working human being you ever seen, it's 100% Kobe Bryant. You can't talk me off the ledge. You can throw whatever Jordan did this at golf and he smoked cigars and played. I've seen Kobe do some shit that's never been done before and probably never will. So he's my favorite player of all time, right? If I can be biased and put him number 1, I would, of course.
It wouldn't mean nothing.
Guys, what are we talking about then? This is what basketball debating is. It's talking about placement, legacy, justifying one person over another.
The problem with legacy is this: our NBA legacy is put into people's hands who's never played the game, right? The voters are voting on legacy. Right? Like this dude right here, he doesn't hear nothing. He just has whatever he wants and then he says it. So look, legacy. Who did you guys think won in the defensive player of the year this year? Who did you guys vote for?
Davis.
I can't stand awards because of what you're saying. They're worthless.
Anthony Davis.
An easy way to go.
Anthony Davis. Some people had Wemby. They gave it to Rudy, which all players was like, no, right? Some of these awards are going to the wrong person because voter fatigue, that's my favorite player, right? So it's hard to really look at a guy's resume and then take it for what it is. Like even Michael Jordan, if he's the best player in the league, how is someone else winning this award? How did Karl Malone get an MVP? How the fuck did Charles Barkley get an MVP? Like you went to a team that won 50-something games the year before and you're number 1? They were fucking number 3 the year before you. How are you an MVP on that?
Because other guys are worthy of these awards, Gilbert, so they won the award. Just because Michael Jordan's in the league doesn't mean other guys not worthy of these awards, man.
What makes them worthy? What makes them worthy? What makes them worthy? What makes them worthy?
They earned it for that.
So that means go to Google. No. Go to Google and tell me what makes them worthy.
They earned it for that.
Gilbert, stop, man. Just stop.
You just talk. I figured you out. You don't have
of all time, and you mentioned the top 10. And FYF, you said something about top 10 and what makes the difference where guys are ranked. What I've always talked about on my channel is what? I've remained the same. The worthiness of these guys. It doesn't necessarily matter about the stats or the accolades and things
your
of that
worthiness?
nature. LeBron James is not worthy.
What does your worthiness mean?
See, LeBron James again. What does the fuck this got to do with LeBron James?
Once again, LeBron James
We're talking about Jordan should have all his MVPs, not Barkley. What does LeBron James keep coming up?
Michael Jordan always carried himself with class and integrity and respect, respecting the game. LeBron James didn't do those things. So once again, LeBron
Jordan
James
didn't always
exposed
carry
himself.
himself with
This
class.
is why LeBron James is asking for respect. This is
Yo,
why
Hoop God's
LeBron
been
James
trying to
has
get a
his wife
question
come on
off for
stage
like
and call him the
45
GOAT.
minutes. He's about to punch his
LeBron
screen.
James ain't got no class, no honor, no integrity.
That's nothing to do with LeBron James right now. That motherfucker suck. He's stuck on repeat, y'all. He's in a fucking time loop over here.
That's all you got to say. Yo,
Yeah, you're in a time
You haven't
loop.
a damn question yet. You haven't argued to a point one night older. All you've done come on here is made excuses, man.
You might as well just
Listen,
ask
once
it.
again, you've exposed yourself. Like I said, you haven't argued anything. You over here, I say LeBron James. Dude, I've been flaming you with everything that I've said.
Yeah.
And all the
Write it down and
nonsense
put it
that
on
There's
you
the
no.
say.
screen, bro.
What are we arguing about?
You stand on
What are
nothing.
we arguing about? What are you arguing
All about hot
for?
takes and views. No
What?
one respects you, man.
What is your
Stop it.
argument? Like we don't. What is your you're arguing? But what is your stance? That
I
the
said once
80s is
again,
tougher
so
than
you
the
can't
90s.
remember
That
anything I
Jordan is
said from
tougher
the
than
beginning. I
LeBron.
said, how
Okay,
could you
who's
sit there and
arguing
say
that?
that you're a Michael Jordan fan and on the same time trying to make an argument for LeBron James being number 2 all time right behind him? You sound ridiculous right now.
Okay, so where do you have LeBron?
He's not in my top 10. He'll never be in my top 10.
Okay,
It
cool.
don't matter where I have him.
Okay, there's your argument. Well, you see, I'm not arguing you about that. It's yours.
I just said, how can you be a Michael Jordan fan and respect everything Michael Jordan stood for? LeBron James didn't stand for that.
Gil,
I can say if he's acting like I put LeBron over Jordan, right? Didn't I say when I came out, I said Jordan's number 1, right?
Larry Bird.
I said Jordan's number 1, right? I think everybody heard me. I said Jordan's number 1. There's nothing LeBron can do that goes in front of Jordan. I said that. So I don't even know why we're still talking about Michael Jordan and
I'm talking about
LeBron.
Larry Bird.
To put them 1 and 2 insinuates you think they're close. They're not.
Okay. There it is. Someone has to be 1, right? Someone
I
has
thought that
to be
was
2.
kind of easy what he was trying to get at, and you're playing dumb like you don't understand his argument. It's quite clear what he's saying. He doesn't think
it's not quite clear. 1 can be 1. 2, 1 can be 100. 2 can be 89. That's just where 2 is. 89. Who's saying 2 is 99?
You put him above Kobe and after Jordan. He's got to be somewhere pretty close after Jordan. You're kind of. I think you're kind of being obtuse here, and you know what we're trying to say. Like,
why does that matter?
Okay. Someone has to be 2. Someone has to be 3. It doesn't matter if it's a top 5. Who cares how close they are? If I'm telling you, no matter how many. If I say no matter how many championships LeBron wins, he is not going to be better than Michael Jordan. Means he's not even close as number 2, which means 3 is not even close to number 1.
All right, so you don't even think that LeBron is close. Okay.
So Gil, wait,
Gil,
hold on.
I don't know what he's arguing.
Wait, Gil. So hold on. Quick question. Shannon Sharp had a tweet back in 2012. He said the greatest basketball players of all time. He said God, Air Jordan, Kobe Bryant. This is in 2012, right? Now, what we're trying to figure out is because it's a 2-part question.
2012, okay.
Yeah. But hold on. Stay with me. It's a 2-part question. How did all of a sudden Kobe get reduced to like 8th or 9th? But around 2016, right? And then LeBron gets vaulted up to number 1. But again, it's a 2-part because you said dominant on offense and defense, which there's only been 3 players who made all NBA first team and led the league in scoring, which was Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Jerry West. Then you mentioned style of play, okay? So I'm just paraphrasing what guys you played against, what they said. Tony Allen, Tayshaun Prince, Bruce Bowen, Ron Artest, Shane Battier, Andre Iguodala, Trevor Ariza. They all said Kobe Bryant was a tougher matchup on defense. So what we're trying to correlate here is not saying you. How would someone put LeBron over Kobe when Kobe has amassed more things as a player, not accolades, as a player, and trying to defend him and develop a strategy against him? Case in point, LeBron James got beat by the Spurs in 2007. Do you want to give him a pass? Cool. Kobe destroyed them in 5 games. Pau Gasol only averaged 13 points per game. But let's move forward. 2009, Orlando Magic. LeBron James loses in 6. They did not have Jameer Nelson, who was their most efficient player. Kobe Bryant defeated them in 5 games. And his second best player was giving you the same production as LeBron's second best player, Mo Williams. But wait, let's go to 2010. The Boston Celtics. 3 top 75 players, 4 Hall of Famers. Kobe Bryant has 1 Hall of Famer, no top 75 teammate. He gets the job done in a 7-game series, which Boston at that time was the toughest defense known to man. Gilbert, I think you know this because you played against those guys. So what we're trying to figure out is, how does LeBron get vaulted over Kobe when Kobe, again, as I said earlier, accomplished more things not related to statistics as far as winning, style of play, and the fear factor?
What year did you guys consider Jordan ready to win?
Can you answer the goddamn question?
I'm asking a question because you're comparing.
You asked the question.
You're comparing someone who's in his prime beating a team versus someone who's young. Right? It's like
had 2 league MVPs in 08 and 09. How is he not?
That's an individual award.
Gilbert, they had the same production from their teammates, is what I'm asking.
Offensive production?
Yes, go look it up. Go look up.
Hold on, who got?
Hold on.
Who got? You only
LeBron's second best player. Look at the numbers.
But who got? You're talking about offense. Players, you spend more time playing defense in a basketball game than you do on offense.
Hold on. Wait, good question.
Wait. No, hold on. Who got? You forgot to mention that Ron Artest was one of the best defenders in the league. How do you not get these things?
Like what I'm saying is,
you didn't mention that though. But you said no top 75 players, but you didn't mention that Ron Artest wasn't one of the best defenders in the league. You didn't mention that Derek Fisher has been one of the best leaders in the
NBA. Wait. Cleveland was 4th in defense.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't care about the defensive rating. What you did was to skew it. What y'all do is you try to say Kobe didn't play with these top 75 players. Top 75 players does not talk about the team in the moment. Ron Artest, I don't care if he's top 75 or not, was one of the best defenders in the league at that time. Kobe had him next to him. He had Paul Gasol. I don't care. Whenever Paul Gasol averaged 13 points, he probably spent more time also being one of the best
won
defenders
60 games in back-to-back.
What I'm saying is
that's production.
What I'm saying is you're pretending right now. You're pretending like that Laker team wasn't great. No, what I'm saying is what you're doing, who got it disingenuous because you're using.
How is it disingenuous?
I'm telling you what the team did. Just listen. Because you rants and everybody been yelling.
66 games?
Hold on.
Lamont, 66 games. Come on,
listen, so I can tell you. What you're saying is, what you're doing is the barometer that you're using to say that Kobe played with nobody is by
I didn't say that.
Hold on. You gotta let me finish the sentence before you even know what I'm about to say. Hold on. You said out your mouth, Kobe had no top.
Lamont, you're distorting my words.
You said Kobe did not have no top 75 players. Okay, what
you're distorting my words. I never said he didn't have
top 75 players.
That's not saying he doesn't have anybody. You're trying to know. You're misconstruing my words.
What I'm saying, because you've been yapping, but you won't listen.
Lamont,
didn't really say that too.
My words.
Hold on.
Why did you switch to Kobe instead of Jordan?
What y'all been doing is y'all try to over-talk, because it's funny how when y'all talk, everybody else shuts the fuck up. But when we talk, everybody
you're distorting my words.
How about you shut the fuck up?
LeBron had back-to-back 60 wins.
All y'all been doing is every time.
That is enough help.
Okay, so hold on. How about this? Who got? Say what you want to say, and then I'll say what I want to say. Because just like you, when you talk, we shut the fuck up. How about you shut the fuck up?
Do I need to bring the timer back?
Say y'all want to have these debates.
Yeah, Dart, control.
Say y'all want to have these debates, but y'all don't shut the fuck up when people are talking.
You interrupted me. Come on here, man. How dare you, man?
I mean, all I'm saying is shut the fuck up. We didn't give y'all respect.
You a clown, man. Go do a Scottie Pippen video, man. You a straight hypocrite, man. You know a damn thing, man. You soft, man.
Y'all just been
bring the timer that nobody's gonna follow back up.
This is the saddest part about it. Just shut the fuck up when people talk.
You a soft clown, man.
You talk about integrity and all this stuff, and you won't shut the fuck up.
Brick, fool.
Jesus Christ! He say integrity and all this stuff. And he can't even respect another person when they talk.
You're the one cursing here, fool.
I'm cursing now.
I've never cursed.
Because you're a clown.
My integrity. You want to talk about Scottie Pippen all the time? Why don't you talk about LeBron James? Spend the same energy on LeBron James teammates. You guys sound ridiculous, man. You got all this energy from Michael Jordan's teammates. You ain't got the same energy from LeBron James teammates. You come on here making excuses, man.
Lamont, you cut me off though, bro.
Hoop God.
Hold on.
Okay, Hoop God. I said you can speak. And after you get whatever you got to say out, because as you refinesse it, then let me speak instead of every. So, like I said, hold on. I'm gonna let you restate your point so you can fix it, and also add in Ron Artest's greatness and Derek Fisher's leadership and some of the other teams. So go ahead and restate it, and then we can talk about that Laker. You're pretending like that Laker team wasn't great.
I'm not pretending anything.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
That Laker team is one of the most overrated in NBA history from a talent standpoint. Outside of Kobe Bryant.
Can I finish now?
Can I ask a question?
May I finish?
This is the problem. Wait, hold on. This is the problem when it comes to just the sport itself. We penalize guys who are successful when they're younger, like Tatum is right now, right? We're penalizing their greatness because they're showing greatness at a young age. So you want to penalize LeBron James as a 25-year-old losing to the Boston Celtics and Kobe at 30 is destroying them. That is very unfair to do. It's unfair. Like I can't judge Ant-Man losing to Luka and them because he's fucking 22. His greatness is capped off because of the immaturity of it. You guys are not. You're not
putting the ownership on LeBron James, man. Why won't you put the ownership on LeBron James in 2008? Why LeBron James couldn't raise his level of play and get the most out of his teammates? You guys are making excuses here, man.
It's
no
his
one cares
fault.
about the career. You're not giving
Lucas
LeBron
25
James
that could get James.
It's LeBron James'
25 years old.
It's LeBron James' fault.
The man was in the league for years. What are you
It's
talking about?
LeBron James' fault.
Man.
We got it. We got
James
it.
is a coward, man.
We got it. It's LeBron James' fault. Now can the adults talk? LeBron James is 100. We got it.
No, how are you going to talk about age when LeBron
is?
had to beat a 1 year and a 2 year Tatum and Brown?
Say it again.
How are you going to talk about age and defending LeBron James when LeBron James had to beat a 1 year and a 2 year Tatum and Brown?
Nobody gives him credit for that.
Wait, credit?
What?
LeBron James is a damn veteran compared to those guys at that stage.
Who gives LeBron credit for beating a young Tatum and Brown? Who does that?
LeBron fans.
Oh, LeBron.
Everybody says the East was
weak.
weak.
Been acting dumb the
No,
whole
wait. Everybody can agree that a lot of those years, the East was kind of soft around that time, and Brian got to the finals in the soft East. We can agree to that.
Was the toughest he got.
Nobody runs around saying that LeBron beat up on a young Tatum and Brown. Nobody says that.
Oh, really?
But they also don't bring that up when they talk about his
LeBron's first championship was some bullshit. The NBA gave him that. Because I played, I already knew what was going on. They had They had OKC somehow beat the Spurs, right? Spurs beat them 2 games, and all of a sudden, if you heard the media, you can go back and watch Game 3. The Spurs is too old. They're too old to keep up with OKC, right? Because they wanted a young team going against LeBron to give LeBron his first championship. That was what was going on then, right? That was the narrative then. That was the move then. They were trying to give him his first championship. They didn't want him playing against the Spurs.
They gave him an easy one.
If everything's a conspiracy, it's hard to have like a genuine conversation.
They gave him an easy one. They
I
laid
said
it out
that.
there for him. He was
acting like everything's shaded back.
I just said that.
I don't really buy into that.
I just said that.
He embarrassed himself. He didn't carry himself with any
Comes off
integrity,
like
any
salty
honor.
grapes.
Right? He was mocking Dirk
Integrity
Nowitzki.
and honor once again.
You guys don't want to talk. Yeah, you can say whatever you want. FYF. You're gonna mock dudes coming in the tunnel. You're gonna fake calls. You respect that? Do you respect that?
I just said that.
I got nothing.
Hey, my question.
I said that.
He still ain't letting Hoop guy talk because really Hoop guy
do you think
shut the hell up and let people talk.
Dude, you were just going back and forth for 3 minutes.
Like
Shut the hell up, man. Stop it,
hey,
clown.
do what you do. Do what you do.
Yeah, do what I do. Exactly. You can't do what I do, my man.
Yeah, what's the weather like where y'all are?
All right.
Yeah, you come to my channel, clown.
This ain't your channel, my guy.
Yeah, you come to my channel, clown, in my comments like a little girl.
That problem is not your channel. It's not your.
Hey, so Gil, you said, hold on, Gil, you said don't penalize LeBron. Hold on. But wait a minute.
You don't penalize anybody for.
Hold on. Gil, wait, stay with me though. Stay with me, family. Hold on, Gil. The 09 Cavs had the best record in the league. LeBron had already went to the finals, okay? Gil, you know this. They had the puppets. What? Kobe and LeBron. So what were they trying to do? They were trying to predictably program us to see what? Kobe and LeBron in the finals. The point I'm asking is, wait, just stay with me. The point I'm asking is, if LeBron can have a season like he had in 09, winning the MVP, having home court advantage, you got all your dogs, ain't nobody hurt, everybody's healthy, you got the coach of the year. bench. Why you can't get the job done against the 09 Orlando Magic? Jameer Nelson didn't play. Who else on that team was noteworthy? That's all I'm asking. In Lamont, I am not downplaying Derek Fisher. I'm not downplaying Ron Artest. Yes, that Laker was great on. No, hold on. They were great on defense. However, they were not a great offense. Kobe made them great. He was the difference maker because he was orchestrating, facilitating, being a closer, playmaking, manipulating the bonus, putting other teams' defense has impact. I'm not saying it's not a great team, so don't distort my words. But Gil, you gotta make this make sense, bro. They won 60 games in back-to-back seasons. Okay.
You said it. You said Kobe was a closer, which means the last 5 minutes of a game, Kobe takes over.
Wait, hold on, Gil. Wait, playmaker and facilitator. Don't just say closer. Playmaker, facilitator.
Yeah, but the last 5 minutes, the star takes over. In today's game, the Lucas, right, the Shays, that wasn't LeBron's skill. That's not LeBron's skill, right? That's why he wasn't successful at the end until he got someone who could do that. He was more Magic Johnson than he was Michael Jordan, right? When he first came into the NBA, he was Magic Johnson with Jordan athleticism. Once he averaged 30-something his second, third year, he's Michael Jordan. See, that's the problem with today's media. What they do with the athlete is they do this. They put them under Michael Jordan, know they're going to fall to that. Right? Ant-Man, the next Michael Jordan. Luka, the next. You can't do that, man. You got to let people play their game the way it plays. We always want to measure them to the highest God. That is unfair. It's unrealistic. I can't tell a 19, 20-year-old you're the next Jordan. It's unfair. That is unfair. You're not going to touch Michael Jordan. Let the player be themselves, and then we judge it when it's all over. That's why he cannot stop judging LeBron versus Michael Jordan. It's not even a conversation. It's like a fucking
we're
not comparing people to Michael Jordan.
So why do you keep bringing him up?
Though, family? I'm talking about.
You keep bringing LeBron up. He is not Michael Jordan. He would never be Michael Jordan. Stop.
Gilbert,
you don't even need to put him in the same category.
I'm talking about Kobe right now. I'm not even talking about Jordan.
You don't understand. I'm saying he's not close to Michael Jordan. He's not close.
Okay, I agree. That's why what are you arguing about?
I just told you. How can he be number 2 all time if he's not close to Michael Jordan? I'm confused.
Kobe was the closest, but yet somehow LeBron.
It doesn't matter what I'm saying to you is how he's not close to Michael Jordan.
What is your list?
I don't believe that LeBron James is greater than Larry Bird, and I'll argue that with you all day.
So what is your list?
I'm putting him in there.
So what is your list?
It don't matter.
It does.
We've been doing a debate league with the list.
How is he that close?
No, what I'm saying is because if Jordan's number 1, we want to hear who your number 2 and 3 is, so we can sit here and yell and tell you that how are they that close to Michael fucking Jordan? How are they that close to fucking Michael Jordan? We can do the same thing, sir. We can do the same thing. So who is your number 2 and 3? Who is 2 and 3?
Worthy to be argued in a conversation with the other all-time greats.
This nigga said James Worthy. James Worthy is what?
He flops around. He joins teams. He blames his teammates. He gets coaches fired. He takes no accountability. How could you compare him to the other all-time greats? No matter who it is. How could you compare him to Jerry West or Dr. J or Tim Duncan or Hakeem Olajuwon or Bill Russell or Will Chamberlain or Magic Johnson or Larry Bird, any of these guys, or Kobe Bryant? How could you compare him when he's doing all these things? It's ridiculous, man.
And how do we know? How do we know what they were doing?
Because we watched them do it, my man. I see LeBron James standing on the court with his hands on his hips, not playing no defense. I see him do this. I see LeBron James load managing, eating food on the sidelines. I see LeBron James making a mockery of his opposition. We see LeBron James come to a post-game press conference and tell us to go back to our boring lives. We see LeBron James come to a post-game press conference and wear a cast and make excuses. We see him do all these things, man, make a mockery of us, tell us to keep that same energy, tell us he's activating playoff mode. I don't remember any of those guys doing that. They carried themselves, once again, with the honor, the love of the game, man. You guys can laugh at that all you want. LeBron James not worthy enough to be in a conversation with any of those all-time greats that I mentioned, man, because he hasn't carried himself up to that standard.
Okay, so who's your 2 and 3 again, sir? Can we get that we get every other word out of you? Who is your second and third best player?
I'm gonna do what you've been doing the whole time. We ask you a question, you answer our question with a question. So once again, why don't you start asking some questions? I asked you from the very start to explain you criticizing and accusing those guys from the 80s and the 90s of using steroids. Then you tiptoed around
I gave you an answer.
Business.
I can call someone from the 80s and ask them what they were fucking. I think this is the problem. I think you think I'm unresearched. I research everything. So if I don't know something, I will call a player the damn selves.
Put the
so
names
I
out
call
there then.
Clyde
If you
Drexler.
guys in the 80s and 90s are using steroids for playing 82 games, put their names out there then, loudmouth. Put their names out there on the public.
Did.
Put the names out there. Who used steroids? Who you see do it? You a loudmouth, you gonna run your mouth and make those accusations? You sound ridiculous, man. Come on. But you're stand up for LeBron James and all the smoke going around him, right? You won't defend.
What did I say? What did I say about LeBron James?
You're gonna do research into Chael Sonnen. You're gonna do research in the Balco and all these accusations. You talk about Kevin Garnett and the things he said.
Did I say anything against that?
What I'm saying is, how come y'all got energy for all this other stuff?
I said probably. Look at the motherfucker.
Guys in the 80s and the 90s, it don't make any sense. If everyone's taking steroids, why y'all not playing 80 games? It don't add up. You're talking
because we got
Gilbert. Are we
because if you let me answer, if you let me answer, the reason it's hard to do it today. You know what? How about this? I'll do something for. I'll do something. Hold on. I'll do something for you. I will do something for you.
Kevin Durant could go wherever he wants. How can these guys can form super teams? They can dictate.
I will do something for you. I'm going to give you something.
Players have power. They have power. Stop making it seem like they don't have to play.
I will give you a nugget, motherfucker.
Yes.
Since okay. I already told you that they only had one drug test back then. So whatever fucking drug you wanted to be on, it was easy to do.
Oh, and here we go.
Then they came out with 4 drug tests, right? They came out with 4 drug tests randomly. That's when you saw a bunch of people getting caught with cocaine and blah, blah, blah. Around 2012, they changed the drug policy. The drug policy is during the season, the team is allowed to give players certain drugs to recover. The team is allowed to give, you can't do, before you couldn't do weed during the season, but you can do something to help you recover. In the summer, you can do weed in the summer, couldn't do whatever it was to make you recover. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Right now, the drug policy is lifted so they can do whatever the fuck they want to do. So you can run with that however you want. I'm just trying to give you. It's the problem is you don't want fucking information. You just want your narrative. I'm trying to give you information.
Right now, you're not making any sense, Gilbert.
Of course, because you don't know shit. You just know your narrative. You know your narrative. That's all you know.
And they do steroids now. What is the difference? Why are they not playing as much if they're still doing it from then to now?
Who said doing steroids?
Doing cocaine and steroids. How the hell are they still alive? These guys have been dropping like flies, man.
They are dropping like flies.
You're telling us all this nonsense.
They're dying at 50 and 55. They are.
Wait. So, hey, is Sammy Sosa still? Hey, is Sammy Sosa still alive?
How many young kids are dying on fields out
here? Is McGuire still alive?
How many guys?
Is Bond still alive? Are these guys still alive? I'm pretty sure they're still fucking walking around alive. Like, it's weird that
you're saying they're using cocaine and steroids, man. You sound insane. Once again, I didn't drop the names out there.
Didn't Jordan say his team was on cocaine? Like, okay, what year was there a cocaine epidemic, please? Can somebody please tell me what year was the cocaine epidemic? Now tell me every sport that was doing it. Somehow, the NBA didn't do it. The only reason the NBA didn't get caught because of the drug testing itself. Stern did not want his team, he didn't want his league to fall under what was going on in the world. You need to go back and look at the records when certain players from the Knicks was throwing games for their drug habits.
Here we go.
I know. Here we go.
Here we go, man.
Go to Google. I'm pretty sure.
Everyone's corrupt. It's a conspiracy theory. Here we go. Gilbert Arenas came out here with info wars, man. You sound insane, man.
Well, let me ask y'all this question then. Okay.
I know some of y'all got Google. I'm pretty sure NMB Sports, I'm pretty sure you're going to Google right now. And you can call them out yourself when you see the Philadelphia Michael Ray Richards throwing games for his drug habit and a whole bunch of other Knicks. And then the NBA had to put it under the what's the name? I've talked to this era already. I've talked to this era. Josiah Batty, Marcus. I've talked to him and he tells me what they were doing in the 70s. Coming to the games high, smoking. Yes. I'm sorry that it's hurting your fucking feelings. I'm sorry. But it's a fact, dog. I can't help it.
Because they have mental issues. They're sitting out because they're faking injuries. They're not out with injuries. They're out because they're hurt. You're not making any sense.
We're talking about the 70s and the 80s. Stop comparing the league. We're talking about you said I was wrong about the 70s, 80s when I'm getting all my information from those guys.
You're running around in circles. What I said to you is, what does this have to do with the guys today not being able to play?
No, you told me, no. You started your shit off by saying, why was I disrespecting the 70s and the 80s, saying they were on cocaine and steroids? That's how you started it off.
How dare you accuse these guys as using an excuse as to why they played that, but then you say everyone's using steroids, and you're saying today they have better testing now? They have better ways to avoid the testing. What are you saying, man? You sound insane.
That's what he said.
I'm sounding insane, but giving you actual knowledge. You just don't want it.
Saying that the management doesn't want them to play.
Yo, Gil, let me.
It doesn't matter if it's easy to get around. I'm saying it's really easy when it's one test.
No one's getting busted. No one's getting busted. Like, come on, man. The tests today are just as much of a joke as they were then.
He don't know about
okay.
The point is, if they were doing it back then and they're doing it now, why aren't they playing the same amount of games with the same amount of heart?
Because he just explained that to you. Organizations to play.
I explained it the first time and said it's more on the management wanting their players longer.
Wait, so the players have no power, but yet they can go wherever they want.
Luka playing 82 games. I only want Luka playing about 68 to 72 games.
Man trade, so they got no power.
No.
Oh, man.
Hey, Gil, what's the pushback going to be? What's the reaction going to be 10, 20 years from now if it does come out that all this shady shit that we say happened actually took place? What would a LeBron fan say to that?
It's going to be the same as like information coming out about MJ right now. No one cares.
What's the difference between then and now? That's not
what I'm saying.
Even if I cede your point, what's the difference between then and now? And it's like, well, they get too much money, so they got to sit out. That's what the owners want, so they can prolong their product. Well, but they also want to play a minimum of 65 games. Oh, well, it was the steroids. Well, they do steroids now, too. What is the difference? It's all like these conspiracy theories.
They're conspiracy. I don't know if when they put out the 60.
These guys are playing for the same team franchise for like 10, 15 years. They're going from team to team. They're mercenaries. So what the hell are you talking about? Why does the management worried about them being in the NBA for 10 to 15 years? These guys are hopping around from team to team. There's no honor. There's no loyalty. So it doesn't add up when you say that.
Who's hopping around?
Bro, are you serious?
Oh
Come on,
man.
man.
I just want him to say the names.
I want
LeBron James, Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant
two primary guys in this era.
How about Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler didn't bounce around.
I didn't even know Jimmy Butler was in this conversation. So LeBron James, right?
How many teams go out let him play for?
LeBron James.
Jordan played for. How many teams Paul George played for?
So when Barkley was going from team to team,
you're naming one guy. You name one guy. How many years did Charles Barkley play for the Philadelphia 76ers and the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, there's a big difference between Malone and Gary Payton going to the Lakers, trying to chase a ring at the end of his career, and joining up with two other prime.
I hear you. I hear you. See, this is the problem of
And why would you bring up that example if you know that?
Because you don't want to take in, which is what NBA franchise is the biggest market right now? Who has the biggest market? Back then, we'll say Lakers, Boston, Chicago, right? Since the 80s, right? So the star players in those organizations wouldn't have left because everybody's trying to come there. So Magic did not have to leave because everybody wants to come to LA. Jordan didn't have to leave because everybody's trying to get to Chicago to win with Jordan. New York.
Who went to Chicago? Nobody went to Chicago. That's the whole point here, you goof. Who went there? Craig Hodges? Cliff Livingston? You sound ridiculous, man. Reggie Miller played for the Indiana Pacers for all those years. That's not a big market. Who the hell went to Indiana? He didn't get Chris Mullin and Mark Jackson. So
I don't think Indiana. I think him staying in Indiana did exactly what it was going to do. Nothing. Right?
The two best players in today's
you get the hard
NBA.
salary cap and
The
bird right.
two
Like,
best
no one's
players in
moving
today's
around in the
NBA.
90s.
Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo are both in small markets, and neither has won.
But hold on, before you get there, he said nobody went to Chicago. There's a player who averaged 18, 22, 20, 23, 19, 18, 18, 20, went to Chicago to average 6. His name was Ron Harper.
You sound ridiculous. Yeah. He didn't go to the Clippers. He didn't have a knee injury, right? Ron Harper didn't have an injury.
He
hurt his knee 4 years before.
Hey, loud noises.
The year before he went to Chicago. He averaged
how many All-Star appearances did Ron Harper make?
He averaged 20 points a game and went to Chicago to win a championship.
Ron Harper making a sacrifice.
So let's try it again. Ron Harper made a sacrifice to go win. Didn't Dennis Rodman go over there?
Where was Dennis Rodman coming from?
San Antonio.
Exactly. And what was David Robinson in 1995?
He averaged 5 points a game.
MVP of the league.
You just said nobody went there.
No, but I'm trying to lay out the story for you here. So once again, Dennis Rodman was on the San Antonio Spurs, wasn't he not? Did they win anything on the Spurs? So when he went to the Chicago Bulls, what was the storyline? Dennis Rodman had nowhere to go. Dennis Rodman wasn't a team that people were trying to get. And what they say, Michael Jordan, can you handle Dennis Rodman? And what did Michael Jordan say? He gave Dennis Rodman his props. We need Dennis Rodman, man. We need his hustle, man. We need what he brings to the table because he respected Dennis Rodman's game and the hustle. And Michael Jordan knew he could control him. How many times you see Michael Jordan on video?
That's a lie. That's a lie. You listen to Google.
Rodman.
You're listening to Google. Michael Jordan nor Scottie Pippen wanted Rodman.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson said he can control him.
No,
you fucking goof.
Jim Stack.
Dennis Rodman, 2-time defensive player of the year, and he came off the bench. What the fuck? You said nobody went there, motherfucker. Now we got 2 fucking people. We got an all 2-time defensive player of the year. Go there. Why don't you just stop fucking talking?
Wait, so you're telling me that Michael Jordan?
You said no one went there. You said it. You said no one went there. You said no one went there. You said no one went there. So my point was, the stars who are trying to win that can't win in small markets, they go to the bigger teams. Now today, we have new owners that's coming in that's buying teams like
oh my God,
the guy from Denver, the guy from Milwaukee. Think about all the new owners in the last 8-9 years. They're basketball fans, and they've won a championship within their new buy because they're buying their players versus this is a business. So Dallas, Mark Cuban, when he bought his team, he ended up winning the championship. So mostly, if you look at it around, all the new owners are winning. They're actually buying. Before, they was not spending money. Now they're trying to build teams. But at the end of the day, if that team does not win, those stars want to leave. So like with Giannis says, you're going to have to do something or I'm not going to sign. There was no power back then to do that.
Giannis never left. He never begged. He never cried for help. He won a championship. He won a championship with.
He just said he's not going to sign his extension until they do something. Which that means they traded and bring in Dame. He just pulled that move. They couldn't do that before.
They traded away their second best player, Drew Holiday, in order to get Dame. It's not like
to get Dame, yes. To get Dame because he said, what direction are we going in? Because if we're going in the direction I see, I don't want to be here long term. Same move Kobe pulled. What are we doing? After he won his score, what are we doing? Because at some point, if you let the business of basketball be the business of basketball, they don't want to win.
So Gil, what about
you have to pull leverage?
Gil, what about a guy that you're on record for saying he's the worst MVP winner in the last 40 years? What about a guy like Nikola Jokic?
Whoa. Now, so you can see the cleverness. So you can see the cleverness of what I said. Since you guys think my takes are bad, I said he is the worst 3-time MVP in the last 40 years. All you guys heard was worse. You didn't hear 40 years. You didn't hear 40 years. You didn't hear 40 years and wonder why I said 40 years, because Moses Malone is 50 and I didn't want you guys putting Moses Malone in there. So that means it's only Jordan, LeBron, Bird, and Magic. So who's the worst? Jokic
What
at this
are you
point.
saying, man?
I did not see you say the worst.
What I'm saying is he thinks I said Jokic is like one of the worst, but obviously he's fit, so he's the worst on this list. It's just a clever way of clickbaiting people that I know have short attention spans. That's all. He's fit on it. That's why I said 40 games and 3-time MVPs. So if you look at all the MVPs in the last 40 years, 3 times, there's only 5 of them, and he's fit. So I use the word worst.
You took the wrong portion of my question. Talk about how Nikola Jokic has never played with a single All-Star ever. Never played with a single first, second, or third team player, All-NBA player ever. Talk about how that guy has won a championship somehow in a minuscule market, has never trashed his teammates, has never leveraged his ownership to force on more supporting cast help. He just went out and did it old school style and gets relatively no credit at all.
A good organization. I know it's a good organization because the guy who built the team was my ball boy, Michael Conley. And it's a good organization, Basketball Minds, right? Now here, I'm gonna tell you the story of how, since he loves LeBron, what happened with LeBron and why he left. He called Chris Bosh and said, "Can you come to Cleveland?" Chris Bosh said, "Hell no," right? He called Dwayne Wade. Dan Gilbert said, I just bought this team for $500 million. I'm not paying anybody. That's what made him leave. You guys are not factoring in.
It's a coincidence. It's always the owners in the front
office. No, what I'm saying is, I'm giving you an example. Are you not factoring?
All of your examples have the same excuse.
I'm asking you, what happens when the team themselves?
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
I'm asking you, when the team themselves don't want to win, what does the player supposed to do? This goes for everybody. Fuck LeBron. This goes, if the team does not want to win, what does the player do?
I don't ask you that question. I begrudge him for the decision he made and the player that he joined. If LeBron wanted to leave, God bless. Go and find a better team and get some better supporting castmates. Dwayne Wade was the 3rd best player in the NBA at the time that LeBron left to join up with him.
Listen, I get the argument about who he teamed up with. That's another discussion. I'm saying just in principle, if you're a star player and you're doing what you're doing and your organization aren't writing checks to bring people in, what do you do as that star player?
Some players would stick around. Other players, obviously, the primary amount of elite players in this era wouldn't. But
I'm saying it's because the legacies of how Reggie Miller is treated, how Patrick Ewing is treated, right? These players look at that. You guys are judging by rings. So these guys decide that they want to go get rings. How are we going to blame them for that?
Winning isn't supposed to be easy, though, Gilbert. That's the major crux of this.
I can't get you to write that check, though. If I'm coming to you saying, yo, I convinced this player to come here and you don't want to write that check, like, that's part of my legacy, too.
What does that have to do with the decision? What does that have to do with that?
To say one thing to Jay's point, Jay, what the one element, and this is why I don't like crossing errors with this particular conversation, is because when we talk about when the New York Times put out that article about Ewing wanting to leave the Knicks, Ewing specifically wanted to leave the Knicks. Reggie Miller, there was a time where he talked about wanting to leave the Pacers, and he put that in Indianapolis Star. The reason why they didn't leave is because the way the CBA was drafted at that time, just you would have, when you left, you would have to play with that team on essentially a minimum contract deal so that team could acquire your bird rights first, and then you can get paid. The example is with Horace Grant. When Horace Grant left the Bulls that first year with Orlando, he was essentially playing for minimum money, and then he got paid that next year once they got his bird rights. So when we talk about players being loyal back in the 90s, they were loyal for a little bit different reason, because Ewing did mold the idea of leaving the Knicks, but he said, I don't want to lose that much money. So did Reggie. So that was free agency. So that this is why players in the 90s would much rather get traded as opposed to leaving in free agency, because of the penalties affected their pay. So that's why. So when we compare this player mobility from the 90s to this era, I don't think it's as fair, because
it's not fair. It's not fair for anyone. It wasn't fair for the guys. It wasn't fair for someone like Patrick Ewing. It wasn't fair for somebody like Reggie Miller. Like, it wasn't fair for the people in Utah. But we can't, and that's why we can't knock them for not winning the championship, because they had owners that wouldn't build the team. They had players that didn't want to leave them.
No, you get to the finals, they built you a team. You just can't beat the opponent.
No, like Charles Barkley, when he wanted to go to Blazers, he wanted to be traded, and his first option was, I want to go to Portland Trailblazers, and Portland Trailblazers said no. So the second team was the Suns. No, it was the Blazers. Charles Barkley wanted to go to the Blazers first.
He wanted to do
because they went to the championship the year before, and they needed a three-man.
LeBron James wanted to win not 1, not 3, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8 championships.
Gil, it wasn't the Lakers. I read an article where it said Charles tried to go to the Lakers first.
Nah, he wanted to go to the Blazers first. They were the number 1 team and went to the championship, and he thought him being added to them, they could have won and beat Chicago. But they said no, so he ended up going to the Suns. Hey, but what I'm saying is this: if you guys think about it, if I'm a player right now, and you guys are the judges of my career, right? And I'm sitting in Indiana, and I done played 4 years, getting a whole bunch of what you guys call now pointless stats.
No, Gil, I disagree. Because
now I have to go get a ring because that's all you're judging about. See, you're judging. We have this notion of 3 players. The algorithm of people's legacy is built off of Larry Bird, Magic, and Michael Jordan. It's unfair. No one talks about Magic. Magic, the team won a championship 2 years before. Somehow they get the number 1 pick, which is Magic Johnson. That wasn't strange, right? Then they win the championship, and they then they get the number 1 pick, James Worthy, right? I mean, think about the legacy itself. Think about the legacy itself of Magic Johnson. He goes to the number 1 team. He goes to a championship team as a number 1 player. And then while he's there, he gets another number 1 player. I mean, that's a fucking dynasty. Just like Duncan. Duncan goes to the Spurs. They had a bad year the year before he got there, but they were a dominant team. So you got the number 1 player going to a certain team. Boom. This is like Boston being bad next year because somebody get hurt. Then they get the number 1 pick, and then everybody's healthy. It's unfair. But whoever went there, their legacy itself starts off better than everyone else in their class.
What year did the Lakers win the chip before Magic got drafted?
He got there 78? Was 78, 79?
No,
man, what the hell are you talking about, man?
78 was the Supersonics. The Lakers did not win a chip.
72, man.
Magic Johnson got
72.
72.
It was 72 with West and
listen, man.
Listen
to me, man. You all over the place.
And the Jazz signed Gail Goodrich. That's how the Lakers got that number 1 pick.
Yeah. The Lakers had no chip before Magic got there. No, they had not won in like 5-6 years.
Again, Gil, I'm not begrudging LeBron for leaving. I'm criticizing the way in which he left and the team that he constructed when he left. He had chosen one tattooed on his back. He called himself the king. Other people had given him, the writers had given him 2 league MVPs at that point. When he left and leveraged his free agency in 2010, why did he go to the 3rd best players team in the NBA at that time and critically wounded all of his competition in the weaker Eastern Conference to build an undefeatable super team that he himself felt comfortable saying at the time would win 7 NBA championships when he hadn't won anything? If he wanted to leave, fine. But there's levels to this, Gil. You cannot present yourself as the GOAT like LeBron James does when he had to run and crawl on his hands and knees to a top 3 player in the NBA's team in order to win his first 2 championships. It's
okay,
weird.
so I can answer that.
Jay, but that same argument applies. Because Miami was barely a playoff team when LeBron James got there. Just like y'all talk about the Lakers hadn't won a championship in 6 or 7 years before they got Magic. Let's
Dwayne
not
Wade
like
was
Miami
top
was a very
5
good
in league
team.
MVP.
No.
He was
How about
first
the
team
team?
All
Not
NBA,
players.
and they brought Chris
Not
Bosh
players.
in.
Teams. How
Stop
good were
with
they
that.
as a team? How good were they as a team with
What does
just
Magic
with the third
Johnson
best
being
player?
drafted have the same thing to
this
do with
is for
LeBron
Jay.
James going there
No,
free
Jay.
agency?
Jay,
You
they had
sound
the
like an
third best
idiot,
player.
man.
How good were
It's
they as
not
a
the
team?
same scenario. Stop it right now, man. You
They
sound
were barely a
ridiculous, guy.
playoff team with the third best player in the league.
Oh, stop it. Once again, you weakened
No,
your
hold
competition
on.
in the East.
But you added LeBron James and Chris Bosh onto that. The team was unstoppable. It was going to go.
And Jay, if you don't like it, okay, that's like Gil said, that's a whole nother conversation. Again, if you don't like how that team was put together, I get it. But great teams, just like when I debated NMB sports, great teams get put together in a myriad of ways. I just choose to judge them based off what they do, not based on how they got put together. Like Gil argued.
How you win matters.
Hold on.
How you win matters.
Hold on, NMB.
Cakewalking the NBA to rings isn't impressive.
Defense in 21 years.
No, when we talk, Gil his argument was about how the Lakers were able to finesse other teams like the Cavs out of their picks to put together this massive super team. It was put together by the ownership group, not necessarily the players, but a super level
It's
team.
all the ownership all the time. This we're talking about like the
hold
character.
on. That's
You
not
guys
what I'm
deflect
talking
and
about.
blame
That's not what I'm
everyone else.
talking about.
Listen, that's the funny part is who is paying for the players? This is the owner or the player. So I'm gonna answer your question. During the 2010 free agency, we're gonna say, okay, Cleveland, they won 61 games. Magic won 59 games. Hawks won 53 games, and Celtics won 50 games.
Hey, Gil,
right?
pull up the PER from the top 5 players.
Right? So those teams, 59, 53, 50. Now, during that free agency year, you have LeBron James, of course, right? Dwayne Wade, of course, was number 2. Bosh was 3.
Yep, and they were all top 4 in PER that year.
Right? So now you have a free agency market with LeBron, Dwayne, Chris Bosh, Dirk, Yao, Joe
All
Johnson,
top 4.
Amari
All top 4
Stoudemire,
in PER.
Carlos Boozer, David
Dirk was
Lee,
never
Paul
leaving.
Pierce,
Dirk was never
Rudy
leaving.
Gay, Ray Allen. Those guys are free agents, right? You're LeBron James, and you have a superstar class free.
These are just all excuses. We're just going to be this long-winded answer to make an excuse.
He asked me a question.
And deflect.
He asked me a question. So Boston already has a big 3 with this many free agents. Everybody knew that Joe Johnson could be on the move. Amari Stoudemire could have been on the move, right? You have Carlos Boozer. So when you're trying to say, I need to establish myself, Wade and Bosh was teaming up, period, without LeBron. They were originally going to go to the New York Knicks. So that's where they were going to team up at, the New York Knicks. And what ended up happening is New York Knicks signed Amari Stoudemire. And they said, we're not playing with Amari Stoudemire. So they went to the next team that had money, which was Mickey. Mickey said, I can sign all you guys. What they did was they only took a $2 million pay cut. Right, Haslam is the one who took the big pay cut for him because he was getting offered a lot of money in Milwaukee, I think, and he ended up taking a pay cut. He went back for $13 million when he had a $40 million deal on the table. But this is what I'm saying: if you're LeBron James and you have Joe Johnson out there, Amari Stoudemire out there, Carlos Boozer, if any of those players went to Orlando, who had money, Hawks, Celtics. How far behind are you in reality?
If LeBron James
so he teamed up with 2 people to kind of give him the leverage a little bit. That's all. I can't fault him. Like it's like you want to fault him for trying to win his first championship.
If LeBron was that great, that powerful, and had that much pull and influence, why couldn't he say, oh, go to New York, who is a massive media mecca, and probably it's the biggest empire for basketball outside of maybe arguably LA. Why could he not get on the phone with, say, Amari Stoudemire or maybe Chris Bosh and try to poach him away from Dwayne Wade? Why could LeBron not establish his own team with a more competitive supporting cast in a massive media setting like New York, then he could have courted other subsequent free agents in years to come, fortified his team, but he didn't do that. He took the easiest possible way out, Gil. And hold on, this is my major point. Hold on, this is my major point. It's greatness in basketball and in anything, in life, in sports, and whatever. Sports are a microcosm for life, Gil. And the harder the thing is, the harder the obstacles are and the challenges are that you have to overcome, the greater you are, the better you have to become. It brings the best out of you. LeBron has systemically cheated himself from reaching the highest of levels because he has been afraid inherently to go through the hardest and most difficult pathways. That's why myself and many on this panel and in general don't respect him.
I get it. Now, if he's a free agent, he's by himself. Okay. All right. Would you knock him if he went to Orlando with Dwight Howard by himself? Would you knock him then? A team who won 59 and they add LeBron. Would you knock him then? Would you knock him if he went to the Hawks? Would you knock him if he went to the Boston Celtics?
Gilbert, you're
not
gonna
knock him anyway for leaving.
Gilbert, listen, man. We're talking about the way he went about his business. Why would you have to have a special call the decision? You look like a goofball, man.
You care more about how he did it versus what he did.
No. What I'm saying is, this is why no one respects LeBron James.
If he went to the Magic and teamed up with Dwight Howard, was Vince Carter still there?
Listen, man.
Would you guys kill him for that?
You yourself up, and then once again, when things fall apart, you take no ownership.
Just say you don't like the way he did it. That's it.
Gilbert, you're not listening,
you
man.
Don't like the decision.
Goof, man.
Which one is it? You can't talk about how much you're going to win before you leave. No matter what team he went to in the East, it was going to be dominant.
I'm saying you cannot say how much you're going to win and then not win and then act like it's everyone else's fault for rooting against you. You guys have done nothing but make excuse after excuse after excuse. This live stream has been an entire.
He has 4 rings. He got 4 rings.
Hey, everyone, real fast. I gotta address the super chat because Ed Frank blessed me with $300 US.
Wow.
And he said, thank you very much. I know Gil came close with the 260, and thank you very much for that. It's really nice of you. But he says LaFraud didn't overcome obstacles without jumping ship. It's a statement. I didn't mean to interrupt your discourse, but does anyone want to disagree with that or agree with that? How about Gil? Since you do you agree with that?
Yeah, but the obstacles of his first 6 years, he went through the obstacles.
And he failed.
And then he jumped ship. So yes.
Possible.
He's after Jordan, though, guys, ahead of Kobe.
But Kobe,
I can laugh and say, who do you have at 4? Who do you have at 4? Who do you have at 3?
Thank you, Ed Frank.
Who you asking?
You.
I got MJ, Bird, Kareem, Kobe, Magic, Hakeem, Wilt, Russell, Shaq, Duncan.
You have Russell? I heard all I heard was Russell.
8.
Russell where?
Yeah,
8.
I got Russell 6.
You got Bill Russell 6.
Yep.
Why? Can I ask just?
Well, number one, he's the second greatest defender of all time to me behind Hakeem.
Says who?
I said behind Hakeem Olajuwon. Based off what I've seen, he's the second greatest defender behind Hakeem.
What you seen from film?
Yes, from what I've seen from film, but that's not the only reason. His leadership.
Did you like film with your own eyes?
Yeah, that's on YouTube. That's readily available. Yeah.
Okay. So you seen film from the 50s of him playing this immaculate defense against
stop. I'm not
talking to you. I'm asking. So I'm just asking you. So you seen this immaculate defense against who again?
This guy is so kind of ridiculous, man.
Gil, majority from the 60s. I don't think it's a lot of 50s footage.
You don't have
So
to see the
majority of
film, my
footage
man.
I
There are
got is
people who pass the word on. There are historians that do research, that put this stuff out. Once again, it's called doing the historical research. What the hell are you talking about? You think everybody that's an expert on a certain subject grew up in during that time? You sound like an idiot, man. Once again,
I watch
Bill Russell
what
is
I
considered one of the
do
great
for a living
all-time
is
great
I
defensive
watch
players.
basketball. So I'm asking him a question since he
Nah,
said
man.
he has him.
Nah, you're
He
being
said he's the best.
condescending, man.
He's
All
the
you do is
second
ask
best
questions. You
defensive
don't
player,
listen, man.
and I want to hear it from him, not the
Shut
guy
up.
who just comes in and out. I want to hear from him what film showed you that he was Akeem Olajuwon on defense, or second to Akeem Olajuwon on defense.
So when you look at the competition that he went up against that featured Wilt Chamberlain, Walt Bellamy, who else? Willis Reed, and amongst like Bob Pitt and a lot of other great centers at that time. You got to understand one thing, Gil. When you're playing defense, and I'm just speaking in general when I'm saying this, it's not always about the flashy plays, right? It's mainly about how do I impact my team. So when I'm looking at Bill Russell, right, he'll block your shot 2 times, right? So that third time you're coming down the lane, you'll probably miss the shot. Why? Because you're looking for Bill Russell. I'm looking at the psychological aspect, right? But then let me take it a step further. Not only does Bill Russell impact his team winning with his defensive prowess, he will actually block the ball and keep it in bounds to a teammate, right? That's doing what? Taking a possession away from your opponent, giving your team an additional possession to score. That I value that type of basketball play, right? Even help defense. If you go back and watch, and Gil, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this. Bill Russell literally blocked somebody's shot when he leaped from half court. If he wasn't half court, he might have been slightly behind the half court line. But he leaped from there as a help defender to block a shot. To me, that's showing your mechanics, your IQ, your hand-eye coordination, being able to move around on that court like that. Then I'm quoting from his peers. Bill was the ultimate team player. Wherever the team was lacking, Bill could pick up the slack in that area. Prime example, Bob Cousy retires. Bill leads them in assists in the playoff run in 1965. He shoots a record 70% from the field in 1965. Let's go to 1960.
Wait, you said he did what?
He shot a record from field goal percentage 70% in the 1965 finals.
The final. Oh, I thought you said from the final.
Yeah, the point. No, but Gil, the point I'm making.
Okay, got it.
The point I'm making. I don't want to go too long, but Bill Russell never had the greatest offensive team ever. He didn't have a top 1, 2, or 3 offense. They were impacted by defense. When Bill Russell did not play, check this out. They were at a 35% win percentage. When he did play, they were at a 72% win percentage. That's showing me how valuable Bill Russell was to his team. That's why I have him at 6, amongst other reasons, but I'm going to just leave it at that.
How many top 75 players did Bill Russell play with?
I'm not interested in top 75. You asked me about defense. I'm talking about defense.
No, I mean, you said top 75 earlier. That's just a funny question.
So you
want to know.
Okay, this is the problem with the stats of how great his defense was. You're not gonna take in the talent.
Gil,
You're not going to take it. It was an AAU schedule. It was 8 teams, and then when they did bump to 10 and 11, 3 of the teams didn't even finish the season. Come on, there was only 3 or 4 black people in the league at the time. Are we not going to factor in nothing at all? Right, we're not going to factor in that he shot 44% from layup for his career. We're not going to factor that in. Like the motherfucker couldn't make a layup for shit. Like we're not going to factor in that offensively as a center. He's top 2 worst offensive centers.
Yo, Kendrick Perkins, you gotta chill, dog. Kendrick Perkins, you gotta chill, man.
Hey, it's Mike at 40%, and then it's Bill Russell at 44, and all they had to do was shoot layups. Are we going to pretend to be stupid here? Like if I told you that there was a center today shooting 40% from the field, what would you guys do?
You're playing time machine basketball. You're not taking into account
I don't like to play it because you're not going to factor in reality. You're going to factor in
you're talking about time machine basketball about how this guy.
There was no 3-second lane. You can sit in the lane and do whatever you want. The rules is different, dog. You can't do that.
That's the point. Is that you can't compare. You can only compare what they did.
But you have him at 6. Okay, cool.
No, can you tell? So can you actually compare somebody as if they could go one-on-one without just hypotheticals and conjecture. So you mocking George Mikan and Bill Russell for what they're doing. Are you not taking into the equipment of the game? Are you not talking about taking into account the floor of the game? Are you,
yeah.
Okay, and you're not taking into account the rules. You're looking at stats saying they're one of the worst offensive guys. He's one of the best Russell was one of the best outlet passers of all time with the fast break offense.
Somebody who can pass the
Bill
ball.
Russell was considered the seventh best high jumper in the world.
Like you were talking about, he has the third highest.
Bill Russell still has records at his college. Still today, all of the new guys that have come through that you say are so much better now, ain't nobody breaking it.
Oh, he got some. I guarantee you.
High jumper in the world.
Wait, you were talking about Dennis Rodman before.
But you see how you use what you want to use
you're going to sit here and talk about Bill Russell? You sound ridiculous. Once again,
you see how you did that? You make a point by using what you want to use, just like I made a point of using what I wanted to use to make them look stupid. See, if you're going to argue for somebody, use both.
And you
guys, you wanted to use to make them look.
So we can't talk about the other side. Don't talk about the other side, but also talk about both.
Exactly. But I'm doing the same thing you're doing. Like I can make someone look stupid, just like you make LeBron look stupid. It's easy to do.
Time
machine. It's easy to make someone look stupid
Bill Russell
when you
gave
don't
more
like
effort on the
them.
basketball court than LeBron James has ever done over the last 10 seasons. Once again, LeBron James is standing around on defense.
Wait, say it again. I don't hear what you say from the beginning.
Once again, like I said, LeBron James has exposed himself with the standing around on defense. He's not giving the same effort that Bill Russell continued to give. Bill Russell was averaging like 45 minutes a game. LeBron James is barely averaging 45 games a season. So you sound insane right now.
You still keep thinking the players. You still keep thinking the players are picking when they're going to play or not.
I'm going to run this whole live stream back.
You can show me the schedule of the Lakers, and I can go at least 75% on what games they're going to sit LeBron. It's easy. It's easy.
You're exposing that
notion. Thank you very much. You just made my point.
Couldn't the players just get a new CBA to play more games then?
No, but
it counts like.
Do you think the players would do that? It seems like anytime we want to add games, no matter what the sport is, players complain they don't want to play as many games. Like what you're saying the players and owners are doing or wanting is not really matching up with anything we actually see in reality.
NMB, the
reality, like players are dying to play 82 games. Like they're not. Just stop.
But NMB, see, this is the problem. People said about this year, because I criticized LeBron this year a lot about a lot of different things. But this is where the arguments sound weird. Y'all talk about guys not wanting to play games. The Lakers, the organization, tried to put LeBron James on a games and minutes restriction. LeBron is the one that went to the team and said, no, I don't want to be on a minutes restriction. I don't want to be limited. I want to play as many games as possible. And we saw him play a ton of games. And this is one of the reasons why they say Darvin Ham got fired is because he did not implement that minutes restriction that the organization wanted to. So the thing is,
he's standing around on defense.
Like it's crazy to believe.
Them or not.
Have it both
ways.
Do
you guys think LeBron James wants to have it both ways?
So Darvin Ham got fired because LeBron wanted to play more minutes than games.
What I'm saying, hang on,
like Gilbert asked the question.
All I'm saying is this was the narrative getting put out there. People were saying that one of the reasons why Darvin Ham got fired is because he did not strictly implement that minutes restriction on LeBron James. He allowed LeBron. He allowed LeBron.
So they can do it. So they can play. Okay, I'm glad we squashed that.
He allowed LeBron James to flex his muscles because we know that LeBron has a lot of power within that organization to say,
there you go then.
I'm not.
So the thing is, point. We can move on to the next point now.
There's no
point. Just prove LeBron can do what he wants.
All I'm saying is when players actually do say they push against the organization and say they want to play these games in these minutes, then you guys say that this player has no integrity or this player's giving the coach a hard time. So which one do you want? Because
can LeBron decide when to play or not? It seems like you just
but which one do you want? Because when these players actually want to push against the grain and play all these games,
can LeBron decide or not? You just said he can.
All I heard this year was people say that LeBron James got Darvin Ham fired.
Oh, he
Okay,
did?
because LeBron James did what he
How
wanted
about
to,
Luke
right?
Walton?
So
How
the
about
players
Frank Vogel?
decide.
So
what are we
is
even
it-
talking
so-
about?
So,
So a
Guys,
guy
Kobe
with a
Bryant
track
popped
record
his
of getting coaches
Achilles.
fired
have y'all
didn't get
ever
this coach
playing
have
fired.
too
y'all
many
ever
minutes in too many games.
when Damian Lillard sat down, he was talking with CJ McCullough, and they were talking about the time when the organization literally came up to him and said, "You guys, here's the games. These are the games you're going to sit out. You need to pick one." They didn't have no say so in that. So the thing is, LeBron has the cachet within the organization to say, "Bump that. I'm playing whatever minutes I need to play for this team to win."
But Damian Lillard
So
can't.
why'd they sit
he
him
didn't
during
have the
competition
cachet.
then?
He didn't have the
Right,
cachet.
Damian Lillard
Can I
couldn't
ask-
tell
can I
him
ask
he
you guys
wants
a
to
question?
play. I don't
Why'd they
believe that
sit
for a
him
second.
against real competition? Why
Can
sit him against a
I
shitty
ask you a
team?
question? Can I ask you a
Guys,
question?
let's go play.
Nah, you asked too many questions today, man.
So,
Stop it.
go
You
ahead.
hijacked this whole damn thing.
I don't get
So do you
that
guys think
argument.
LeBron is trying to like go for 45,000 points, 50,000 points? We can agree that he's trying to build his stat, right?
100%.
So wouldn't it go against him trying to sit games if he's trying to build something that can't be touched? Right? It goes against the thought of it. If I'm trying to break 40,000 or go to 50,000, the last thing I want to do is miss a bunch of games.
You make
So
up for that by
means-
putting
games
yourself
against-
in
he's
garbage
sitting
time and
games
getting
against
8
tougher
points in the
opponents,
last
too.
5 minutes of the fourth quarter. You just made
Gil,
it up.
he's sitting
Yeah,
against
he's
he's
supposed
sitting
to-
against the competition when
we're
they're
talking
supposed to be
about
trying to win.
Yeah, like I'll just play garbage time and pick up 10
sitting
points.
him
in the
against the
fourth.
competition? Him sitting himself?
I mean,
come
we
on,
can't say for sure, but that's what I.
That's
That's
what
what
I
I.
mean. It's like LeBron can decide, he can't decide. The front office says it, but the front office fired the coach because LeBron did what he wanted.
They're all
Like,
over the place.
You guys tell us. Like I still can't tell.
I'm trying to tell you, you guys are just rejecting the notion because you just don't like it. Right? You think it's a
Rejecting what
coincidence.
notion? You just admitted
You guys
what we
think
have
it's a
been saying.
coincidence that all the superstars are sitting around the same amount of games? So there's not one superstar out there that
You
says,
just
fuck
said
that, I want to play 82 games.
FYF just told us LeBron can do what he wants, and he got a coach fired. Any other
not what I said.
superstar on any
That's
other
not what I
team
said.
can do the same thing. Their ownership isn't going to do shit.
So
Where's
What are they
Steve
going to
Nash?
do? Find their
NBC
star player
Sports,
for wanting to play?
out of the 10 games that LeBron James missed this past year, which game do you feel that he sat out on that he really needed to play in?
So is he sitting out because
No.
he doesn't need to
Out
play?
of the 10 games that he missed, that since they stood out
What are
so
you
much,
asking?
I'm not
Yeah,
asking
what are
you
you
anything.
asking?
No, I'm asking
He
you a
sat
question.
out 10
He
games.
missed. Hold on, he missed it. No, he
He's
didn't sit
asking
out
a
10
leading
games.
question.
He chose
missed
to
11
sit out 10
games.
games.
Hold on.
Question.
Some of his games were due injury related. Some of them were for rest. From what I'm seeing here, there were 5 games for rest. So of the 5 games that he set for rest, what do you recall about those games that he missed that you didn't see in the 71 games that he played?
That the Lakers were fighting
It's
for a
still not
playing season.
understood. What do you want me to
spot the
say?
whole
Like they
season.
played lesser competition, better competition?
No. So he missed. So he set out 5 games for rest this past season.
Okay.
Okay, you guys call those 5 games the whatever you want to, low management, these guys being mentally weak, however Sports and Rants wants to label it. What do you recall from those 5 games? I
Why
don't
don't
even
you
know.
just tell us?
What were the
You're leading
teams?
it on so
LeBron
bad.
James
Just say it. Come on,
Real
man.
quick, what were the
Injury
teams?
to
No,
that.
but
Fucking
this is
say
not.
it.
But this is not my
So
argument.
you're
NMB.
gonna sit there and say that the Los
NMB,
Angeles
this is
Lakers
your
were in
argument.
the top 3 position all
If
season.
you guys are
They were
gonna
fighting
label-
for a play-in, you fool.
Hold on.
They were
If you
fighting for
guys
a
are-
play-in.
if you guys
So
are
once
gonna-
again, you expose LeBron James
If
not
you're
trying to
gonna-
win and put his
Did
team in a good
hold on,
position.
but Sports, did they make the playoffs?
Okay, and what happened when they
Sports,
got
did they make
eliminated?
the
What did
playoffs?
LeBron James say? What did
Sports.
LeBron James say?
Could they have gotten a better seed had they won
He
5
said,
more
hey,
games?
we
Sports,
weren't
did they
healthy
make
all
the playoffs?
season.
And maybe
Once
made a
again,
deeper playoff
making
run?
an excuse for his
Did they-
failures. So LeBron James sat out 11 games this season,
Y'all turn the
even though his
conversation
team.
into something that is not.
Nah, you sound ridiculous. I just
I'm
exposed and
specifically
proved your
talking
point.
about. I'm
I
specifically
just shot
talking
down your
about
whole
this.
point.
I'm specifically talking about this notion where y'all say first y'all said these guys this era are mentally weak and they sit out all these games, and then when
They
I give
do.
you an example of a player that actually pushed against the grain and said, no, I don't want to be on a minute. I want to play these
You
games.
named one guy.
Then
Why
what
would
do
they
you
have a
call that?
restriction? Why would they come up with a league minimum of 65 games? You sound stupid, man. That's why they have
talking out
the
of both
minimum.
sides, I don't understand how you don't understand
what
how
I-
you're
hold on.
talking out of both
NMB.
sides.
Before, early in this conversation, the narrative about this entire generation was that they low manage, they sit out games, they're mentally weak because Sports and Rants went on that rant about that. Okay, well, let's say we give them that. So let's say this is an era where these guys are mentally weak, they sit out a ton of games, and they should be playing. So when you have an example of a guy that's almost 40 years old, right, who tells the organization, I don't want to be on a minutes restriction. I want to play as many games as possible. I want to put my team in a situation to win as much, even though he's older and he probably can't defend the same. He's pushing against that notion of sitting a whole bunch of games. So how do you guys interject that into that logic when LeBron James is pushing against the narrative that these young guys and this league is soft and weak and they're sitting out all these games, but LeBron is doing the opposite at almost 40 years old?
I don't begrudge LeBron for sitting out and missing time at all, honestly. What I begrudge LeBron for this season is the fact that the LA Lakers led 70% of the time in the series versus the Denver Nuggets in the first round.
I criticized him for that. Hold on. We did videos on that. We criticized him for that.
And LeBron choked his ass off in clutch time. They won one game.
Well, we criticized him for that.
LeBron, you said LeBron.
I personally criticized him for that. I was hypercritical of that. I didn't like a lot of the things that I saw this year. So I mean, again, the things that I told a lot of
you said LeBron choked.
Yes,
yeah, I don't think LeBron choked.
100%.
Not Anthony Davis. Not the guys. Not anybody. Not anybody in there. Like, are you guys serious? You guys are calling a guy who's 39 years old a choke artist when the team's supposed to be ran through Anthony Davis.
Hey, you want to get the smoke? You can get the smoke. You can't want to be the best player, make all the decisions, take all the responsibility, and then deflect.
19 seconds ago. Where was LeBron
with that, dude? You're making it.
I'm trying to figure out where was you guys' favorite players at this age? What?
It's really not that hard.
Where was your favorite player at this age?
Stop brown nosing him, bro.
Where was your favorite player at this age for us to criticize them? Because we know you can criticize LeBron James at 39. Where was your favorite player for us to even do that?
James hasn't made an all defensive
my favorite player is Dirk, so that's probably not the best example.
Dirk's
pretty good.
I'll tell you where Kobe was.
You sound ridiculous.
Kobe was pretty good.
I can tell you where Kobe was. Guys, give me the floor for a second here. Kobe Bryant ended his career at 34 when he blew out his Achilles playing every game down the stretch of a playoff run, trying to drag his team into the playoffs, playing 47 and a half minutes per game in his age 17 season and ruptured his Achilles and could never get back. That's what Kobe Bryant was doing. That's the kind of mentality we're talking about.
Arenas wouldn't know anything about that.
LeBron played every game that season at 34.
34 years old when he ruptured his Achilles.
You want to go to LeBron at 34?
I'm saying Kobe ruptured his Achilles and blew his career out because he was pushing it too hard.
LeBron played every game at 34.
He's making the most money.
We're talking about the age of 34.
And didn't do a damn thing on defense, LeBron James. What's he been doing? He hasn't made an all-defensive team in his 30s. You guys sound like fools, man. He's been standing around on defense for years, flopping around, blaming teammates, getting coaches fired, not playing in the system. You guys sound ridiculous, man.
The longevity argument's a cope, dude. It's such a cope. The longevity argument is
Nobody
just nothing
said anything
but
about longevity. He said at 34, Kobe played all the games. At 34, LeBron played all the games. At 33, LeBron played 82 games. So
it's like, are you going to put your age in perspective? You're talking about a 34-year-old guy, then talk about him at 34 because you can't talk about your favorite player.
No, I don't have to. There's no rule that says I have to do that.
What
rule says I have to do that?
Where was LeBron James?
Your favorite player did not exist at 37, 38, 39, and 40.
You can't
So you're judging a guy for lasting that long. That is crazy.
No, I judge him because you put him right under Jordan. He's not even
longevity as one of your factors then if you're not going to hold him accountable for his failures at this stage. That's my point. If you want to use his longevity.
Because we can't hold your guys accountable for failing at that age because they didn't get to fail at that age. They didn't get that wasn't involved.
Because
they was
didn't
their way to play. Jordan was on the fucking Wizards. How about that? Does that not count? Does the Wizards not count?
What happened to NBA?
Does the Wizards not count? The Jordan Wizards, does that count?
Hold on, did Jordan choke with the Wizards?
The Wizards count was
Michael Jordan on
the Wizards playing with the guy that made second team All NBA and first team All Defense?
But did Jordan choke with the Wizards?
That's a dumb question. You sound stupid right now.
No, this is based on your logic.
Answer it.
Now, the Los
Answer
Angeles
it.
Lakers had the number 6 odds to win the title last season. The Wizards never had a number 6 best odds to win a title. What do you sound like? If there was a play-in game for Michael Jordan,
they were supposed to be third in the
East.
They were supposed to be third in the East that year.
Oh, stop it right now, Gilbert. And
the reason why you want to compare LeBron at 34 is because you can't compare him any other way. This is what I mean. It's such
no. We know you can't compare.
What was your player doing at 39?
You can't compare where he's playing now. You're not even giving the dude credit for playing. He's playing.
He's playing.
Why are you holding something? Why are you holding a standard on a guy who shouldn't even be playing? That is crazy.
It's his standard based by his salary, based by how much he is held responsible for when they win or lose. He gets the coaches hired and fired.
It's
his team. He makes all the choices. He gets all the criticism. His age does not give him an out.
So at this age, he is not.
I don't care what his age is. It is where he stands on his team. He is the leader. He gets paid the most.
But we didn't bring up age.
That's the owner why he gives him max money.
Oh, stop it right now. You sound everything's the owner's fault. Everything goes on the owner. That's what we learned today. Let's blame the owner for everything.
I'm saying you want to what? Why he gets paid 50-something million? Ask the motherfucker who wrote the check.
That has nothing to do with LeBron James.
Someone wrote the check, right?
Why does LeBron James take
Someone's going to write a new check, right? So let me get this straight. What you guys are saying right now, how he's not even fucking valuable. There's a guy who's going to write him a check for 3 years, $162 million. There's
is LeBron James responsible for anything?
Yes.
What?
Getting paid 162, putting people in them seats.
All right, man. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just about views and getting paid. All right, there you go. Again, another our point again.
The Lakers is about the business of basketball. As long as you're filling up the seats, you work. Why would I pay you? Again, everything you said about LeBron, why would someone in their fucking right mind give him a 3-year, $162 million deal?
I guess
unless they can make money off of him.
I don't think anyone's denying that he brings entertainment and puts people.
That's all that matters.
Oh, but that's the you. But you're not a fan. The fans want to see him play. You're a player, and you, like you said, it was your life. All that stuff is more important to you than it is to me. I want to see LeBron play.
Then you need. What I'm saying is, then write to the owners who's paying them.
But
you think he's going to play 82 games this year? No, he's going to play enough to make the All-NBA team. So he's going to play about 68 to 69 games.
Has nothing to do with the entertainment. For one, they're not like you said. They're going to do with what they're going to do. Why bring that up when the whole criticism is that he's not playing as much as people want to see? And you're saying that he said that he wants to play. What's that?
Listen, 71 games.
I'm saying in general over the last few years. That's
Giannis is probably one of the toughest playing guys we have now. 72, 63, 61, 67, 63, 73. Jokic. 73, 72, 74, 69, 79. Luka, who's young, 61, 66, 65, 66, 70. Do you think they are purposely missing this many games, or is it scheduled to miss exactly around the same amount of games every year? So your complaint is with the wrong fucking people is all I'm saying. You want to blame Luka for playing 66, 65, 66, 70. No, that's what the team is doing.
The NBA players can play a full season though, but they're bigger, stronger, faster. See, it doesn't make any sense. It don't add up. The guys can't be bigger, stronger, faster, but they can't play 80 games. It don't add up.
Why would I want to play my guy 82 games if I don't have to?
All right, yo, I'm out, guys. I got to
longevity is one of the arguments, right?
Why would you have LeBron James right now? All of you guys, let's pretend to be LeBron James fans for one. He's 39 years old. Why would you want to play him 82 games? Is it in your best interest that he plays 82 games?
He never played 82 games. You act like he was playing 82 games when he was young, and now he's not. You can't make that excuse. He never played 82 games. He never played with that love of the game.
Yes, he has played 82
always been out
games.
for the money, man.
He just says, don't worry. He just says things. He doesn't. He don't have a. I don't know if he has a computer. He's using his phone, so he can't Google to see that he did play 82 games, a few seasons.
He played one time 82 games, you goofball.
Huh?
Hey, Gil,
one time
with longevity being like one of the big things, right?
That's 80 and 81 don't count.
Falco stuff ends up being true years down the line. You talk about speaking of reality. So what's that do to legacy?
What's that again?
So what's that do to legacy if all that Balco shit is true for LeBron?
Dude, LeBron did roids. Is that even a question?
But what's so funny is how they've been testing him since he was fucking 22, 23. So if they haven't found
the tests are garbage, we all know that, man.
Barry Bonds never failed a drug test, by the way.
Right? He's a great husband.
He's never failed it. He's never
right.
Barry Bonds never failed a drug test.
I just want to know what it was.
He's never failed a drug test. He never got caught.
He never told a lie.
So since he's never been caught or never failed a drug test,
he never lost an NBA Finals.
So the legacy itself doesn't do anything because there's never going to be no evidence.
He never
played. The Knicks never got caught either, but the Knicks never got caught either.
No, that's just
there was no proof. There was no evidence.
There was no proof. The FBI had proof.
They investigated. No evidence.
And they
no
had
wrongdoing.
proof. And then they investigate. Huh?
They dismissed it. They said they found no evidence, no confessions.
No confessions.
That's what the official.
And then did you notice that they clearly had a guy on cocaine in games?
Bro. I need
But he was never tested for cocaine in the game.
You on drugs when you brought guns into the locker room, man?
Come on, man. You play dumb when you want to, but you like stick your chest out whenever you want to make your points. Like you got to keep it.
I'm asking you a question. The question is, if there's no evidence, then what are we talking about?
Because you hold it against the Knicks.
What am I holding against the Knicks?
You brought it up how like, oh, everyone's doing coke and they're doing all that in the 80s.
He said that there was no cocaine, and I said the FBI had a whole ring, and the FBI came in, and there was a coke problem in the NBA. That was he said there wasn't. And I pointed out two teams that there was. I'm not holding against them. I'm just saying that's what it was.
And so guys these days don't do drugs or steroids. That's kind of what you're implying. You're implying
I'm not implying nothing. I'm just answering the
LeBron
question.
did roids, right? We're not going to sit here and play dumb.
Are you going to ask me if he did or didn't? I will say, maybe. I don't know. I'm not there with the needle in his booty.
Come on, man.
But But what I'm saying is, we don't have no evidence. Just
you're
like
not fooling anybody, man. I just want you to know that.
I like your stance because when I said it about Jordan, it was fuck no. But now it's a possibility, and they're both innocent. So either they're both guilty or they're both not. You can't say one is because you don't like the person.
That's what I was saying earlier. If we grant that they both did it, what is the difference today? That was my whole point from the beginning.
There's nothing.
And you blame the owners for today or whatever.
What did you do while you were playing? It's all Barry Bonds, greatest fucking player of all time. I don't care because if he's on it, that means other was on it. That means
I never said I cared either.
So because you didn't
get one versus the other.
Huh?
But I agree with that.
Like you were saying, Jen, I don't really. If something comes out later in life that he did do it, then his legacy is going to be ruined. Like anybody, if it comes out that Jordan did it, his legacy would be ruined. But I can tell you this: the NBA itself is not going to allow that to come out.
That's true.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to fuck up their. This is not football. This is not football, y'all. They're not going to mess up their legacy. Their legacy is a certain amount of players, and they're not going to mess it up. So whatever you think is going to come out, the NBA
All-Star game this past season. Are you kidding me? The legacy. The NBA is an absolute joke. The All-Star game is a joke. The players are a joke. No one respects these guys. This is why we say they're not worthy of being in these conversations, man. The product has suffered. There's no way you can deny that. Stop making excuses. This is insane, man.
I don't even know what you argue about half the time, to be honest. You just come on here and you just talk.
Like I said, man, invite me.
I'm saying the legacy itself, they're not not going to let anything come out about LeBron James because it ruins their legacy itself.
Flip side.
That's true.
Just like the referees. Just like the hey, dog, we're talking about something different, dog. Like the referee with Donahue. With Donahue, there was a whole bunch of refs. David Stern himself, when they were investigating Donahue and they were getting to put him on wiretap, the NBA, David Stern, put the story out so all the other refs seen that he was about to start cooperating. So they detached themselves. So he was just a lone wolf. The league is going to protect their image at all costs. Is all I'm saying. So I don't see LeBron James Balco thing going anywhere.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
I gotta get going. I gotta go to the beach.
Yeah, I gotta get going too.
Got some big deal things going on with the family. But but thank you very much, Gilbert, for coming. You're obviously a way bigger media presence than I and more or less everyone here. But thank you for coming and thank you for that $260. I'll probably buy a new microphone.
Anytime.
Gilbert.
I don't know
doubled my followers.
Is it low?
Appreciate that.
Gilbert, real quick. While I just want to real quick, Gilbert. While I disagree with you most of the time, I just want to also echo here and just thank you so much for your time and taking all of the time to come on here and jump on and discuss this stuff with us. I really.
Hey, listen, we're gonna always disagree. We're gonna always that. You know what's so funny? The conversations you have is how at least 70% of the fights happen in locker rooms. We're arguing about somebody else's. Swear to God, we're arguing about somebody else's legacy that has nothing to do with us, and that's usually how the fights start. Just so you can get this, that's usually how fights start. We're arguing about somebody's legacy, so it's actually fun.
We appreciate you, bro.
So appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Are you gonna send Speed Engine those Adidas that he loves so much? No.
Size 11 and a half. Resto mod.
What size?
11 and a half. No. Oh wait, no. Yeah, 11 and a half.
Does FYF have your information or anything?
Dart does.
It's at Speed Engine. It's just that's his YouTube name. But I have his email.
Dart. Just you got my email, Dart. Just have him email you his mailing address, and I'll get it to Gil.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, I'll ship it out tomorrow.
Hey, appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Super cool.
No problem. All right, y'all have fun.
All right,
we'll meet you. Thank you.
Yep. And thanks, Lamont, for coming on as well, for for the discourse as well. It was a fun time.
FYF, I wanted to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Do you think Dirk's 1 ring is more impressive than Durant's 2?
No.
No?
No.
You think Durant winning against who he did and what he
just to be quick,
up with is more impressive than Dirk's one against the
I'm going to tell you, remember, this all comes down to biases. And the way I see basketball, I have the John Wooden syndrome. I don't care how you get him. I don't care how John Wooden didn't care. He was going to recruit the best players in the country, and he was going to collect NCAA championships till the day he died. And for me, I understand because I've come from Indiana. I go into some of these gyms in Indiana where you have to wait 8 hours just to get on the court. You have to come onto the court with the best team, and you have to try to stay on the court as long as possible, no matter who you got to get on your team to stay on the court. So I feel
I didn't say best team. I just said what was more impressive.
2 championships is always going to be 2 is more impressive than 1.
So all championships are weighted equally then.
No, what I'm saying. Yeah, they are weighted equally. A championship.
All
is
championships are weighted equally. Okay.
Yes. Now, if you want to talk about the storyline, I think the storyline about what Dirk did in that particular season, it's just a better feel-good story. But if you're talking about just overall,
well, it's a better storyline.
Remember, 100 years from now, nobody's going to care about the stories. 100 years from now, people are just going to be going to Basketball Reference and they're going to count the championships. They're not going to care about the storylines that we talking about. Just like a lot of people don't care about the storylines that Bill Russell had going on when he won.
I'm pretty sure people will see that the Warriors won 72 games before Durant got there.
How
they were such overwhelmingly favorites, and they're going to be like, nah, they should have won.
When the Celtics drafted Bird out of high school, nobody cares now. When Cleveland
Cavaliers talk about that though.
When Cleveland Cavaliers got finessed out of all their first round draft picks, nobody cares now. They just talk about how
everyone knows it.
They just talk about how Boston won, and nobody cares about how they got those teams. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen,
I don't agree with that. To say that they're all got to get to the beach. I think it's a really bad take.
All right, I'm gonna let them go.
Get to the beach.
I know you got to run. I just wanted to thank you so much for having me on, and I see FYF joined at the last. I don't know quite when, but FYI, this is Jay, aka Scap Attack. I haven't seen it, but I heard that you had an 8-hour special on me at some point. So maybe sometime when we have more time to digest it, I can get at you one-on-one, maybe.
Oh, you can always come over. We always do lives. I could put my email in the private chat for you, man. We could. I want to have that Scottie Pippen conversation, man.
We could do it.
Yeah, we can definitely have you on. Let me put my email in here for you.
And Jay, yeah, thank you for coming as well. I did not anticipate this happening, but I think it was a great first time for you coming on here.
Hey,
I'd
FYI,
love to have
hit you up too if that's cool.
Yeah,
definitely. And I'd love to have you back on the show again if you're interested. And then hopefully we could get you multicasting from your channel as well with that technical thing. But I'd like, and I know everyone loved you coming on, so thank you again so much for blessing us with your presence as well.
My absolute pleasure.
All right, y'all.
A lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Enjoy
Absolutely.
your Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Yep. But I guess, Jay, do you just real fast, do you think that Michael Jordan fans are the best?
Absolutely, Michael Jordan fans are the best. Or, maybe Kobe / Michael Jordan fans. Quite frankly, I think it's synonymous. I think we're one and the same. I think Jordan, guys that grew up Jordan fans kind of migrated over to Kobe.
Absolutely. Do you want to do the outro? I usually end with Michael Jordan fans are the best.
Sure, I can do the outro. Michael